no Multi-21, no Spinella, a rudderless, listless Mick Schumacher, and dead bees as far as the eye can see. Just how would Formula One look without Sebastian Vettel? I'm Peter Brook, I'm joined by Nav F1 and Nedzo's F1 Gridbox, and you're listening to the DRS Train podcast.
This is the DRS Train.
So, before we begin, a little bit of parish news. We've now launched a membership scheme. So for as little as €3 a month, you can become a channel member. This gives you access to loyalty badges, custom emojis where you can actually choose which team you're on, so to speak. You can be Team Peter, Team Ciaron, Team Nav, Team Nedzo. As well as that, you get ever so slight early access to new videos by a matter of hours, and also access to a couple of videos we recorded a long time ago that never got released. So yeah, that'd be really good to see everyone joining and becoming a channel member.
Yeah, well, no Vettel means no 4 championships for a driver who probably did not deserve 4 championships. And with that out of the way, yeah, looking forward to this.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see how the entire history of stuff changes. And please give us money, because I don't want to be living under a cardboard box underneath a bridge anymore.
Yeah, he's got 10 children to feed as well, so you know, it's a hard life.
Yeah.
So yeah, a world without Sebastian Vettel. To give some context, I'm going to try and rattle off what I can remember about his career and how he actually made it to Formula One. So he started karting around 1995. He then began to be sponsored by Red Bull in 1998. In 2001, he became one of the 7 inaugural members of the Red Bull Junior team. He joined Formula BMW ADAC in 2003. He won the title in 2004, winning all but 2 or 3 races. Then he did the Formula 3 Euro Series.
Formula BMW ADAC is what you would call German F4 nowadays, I'd say.
Is German... well, now it's just ADAC F4, but yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
He did that. He then went into the Formula 3 Euro Series in 2005, where he was... there were names like Lewis Hamilton was in there, I think Kobayashi, Di Resta, Lucas Di Grassi, people like that. And then 2006, he became a reserve driver for BMW Sauber because as part of winning the Formula BMW title, he did a test drive in a Williams BMW in 2005 and then ended up becoming contracted to both them and Red Bull. So he did that, 2006, Turkish Grand Prix. He becomes the youngest person to take part in a Grand Prix weekend, also receives the fastest fine in Formula One history. 2007, he carries on doing that. He's now doing Formula Renault 3.5. But then we get to Indianapolis, where the race before in Canada, Kubica had his mega crash and had to miss the race. And so Vettel filled in for one race, and that was where his journey in Formula One began.
In 2007, to be clear.
Yes, 2007.
Yes.
So do we want to jump straight in and say who do you think was going to replace him? Replace Kubica in Indianapolis?
Yeah, that's the... It's not very relevant for the overall video, but it's important just for the sake of Vettel. That was where Vettel got his debut. So just looking at some of the names, Glock is up there. He was he was a BMW contractor driver, I think. Alex Wurz, who used to do all these replacement gigs. He had a full-time gig for once in his life. In 2007, which was a bit weird when you think about it. Why did they take him for an entire year? Who could they have maybe they could have taken on loan because it's BMW. We could have checked DTM, but that's going to take time. So I think we should just look at either the Red Bull Academy and think of, if not Vettel, who's the second best driver, or we think of drivers who retired the year prior, because back then people were not this obsessed over academies. Nowadays, everyone knows every driver in the academy, and if one driver is not performing, all the Formula 2 drivers and Formula 3 drivers are getting spammed with invites, but at that time it wasn't the case. So who do you think, Nedzo?
I've got 2 options. The first one is quite out there, and the second one is also quite out there, so very in character for me. The first one I've got is Michael Ammermuller. He was a Red Bull junior at the time, and he was also German, so perfect for BMW's situation. And the second one, which I think was definitely more realistic, if not still a bit out there, was a driver who'd been fired by BMW in the previous season. And, well, he might have been doing a bit of other stuff in North America, but the race was in North America, and Jacques Villeneuve could have come back for a one-off start.
I seriously doubt that, with the way he ended things with BMW. But With this just one race, I don't think we need to split hairs. It would have been Glock because he was the next reserve. I think he was also a bit annoyed that he didn't get the gig at the time. But then at the end of the year, when he signed for Toro Rosso, BMW took him to court to try and keep him on side, and they lost. Toro Rosso, Toyota. When he went to Toyota, so yeah, for just that one race, they would have put Glock in. Also because he'd already driven in Formula One 3 years earlier with Jordan. So yeah, pretty obvious. I don't think that was a round of GP2 either, so he wouldn't have missed that. But then a few races later, Vettel did come back on a full-time basis when, after the European Grand Prix, when Franz Tost had enough of Scott's speed and got rid of him, and they threw Vettel in. Without him, it's a little tricky because the Red Bull Junior team was still in its early phase of basically just hiring any old sod to become a junior. And so there are a lot of nobodies that were on the roster in 2007. There's a couple of notable names, but the two, I suppose two of the main ones are, like the aforementioned Michael Ammuller and Neil Jarney were the more sort of senior Red Bull juniors at the time.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of other outside options because there were some drivers who did tests for Toro Rosso. I mean, you could also argue that with no other viable options, Speed would have just stayed. Even though he'd had a bust up with Franz Tost, he could have just, because they had no other options to get rid of him, they could have just stayed. Or there are a couple of, I think, people like Takuma Sato. I know he was contracted at Super Aguri, but he went on to do tests with Toro Rosso in 08. You could also argue just drivers who are kind of in and around F1 at the time. You could argue Johnny was one of them. Maybe even like your GP2 drivers like Chantok, Karthikeyan, and guys who've driven in F1 before. Maybe not, obviously Karthikeyan's not GP2, but guys who've been in and around the Formula One sphere. Thiago Montero, people like that.
First thing, so it's Neil Yanni. Small little thing. I don't know why, but
I thought it was Johnny because his dad's Indian.
Well, that's a good point. I've heard commentators say both, so I guess pick whichever.
Yeah.
I've heard Yanni, but yeah. So I think Yanni's a good option, but I also really like Nedzo's call of they just keep Scott Speed, because one of the reasons that Scott Speed got dumped was that Vettel was they had Vettel waiting on the sidelines, and even though Speed was not performing, it wouldn't warrant a seat swap at that stage. And also, at that time, they were not known for seat swap. So was Speed getting dropped the first Red Bull swap, or was there one in 05 or 06?
In 05, no. The year before, they got rid of what's his face, Christian Klein for Robert Dornbos.
Okay.
And he
But that
the
was
year
more sponsorship reasons, right?
no, that was because Klein, I think they told him he wasn't going to have the seat next year, and they offered him a seat in Champ Car, and he said no, and it's like, okay, well, fuck you, goodbye, let's bring in Dornbos, something like that.
Nice.
I think,
But yeah, I do like that goal of keeping Speed, because Yanni, he was good, and he had a very good sports car career in LMP1 with Audi, but I don't think he was ever that close to Formula One, so I think we could keep it.
Yeah, I mean, 2007, he won the A1 Grand Prix series that year, and he was doing Champ Car. So, actually, no, it was the following year that he won A1 Grand Prix.
Champ Car, yeah.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was kind of middling it in Champ Car, and the others. I mean, Felipe Albuquerque was there, but he was maybe a bit too young. He was in GP2.
Fun fact on Iliani, I don't know if he still is the only driver, but he was the first driver to race in GP2 and F1 on the same day in 2006. So yeah,
What?
he did test. He did tests for Formula One team.
Okay.
Not Formula One.
Yeah.
Not the actual race, but
yeah.
I was going to say Behrman, but then I realised that he didn't compete in F2 on the Saturday in Jeddah. That's annoying.
Exactly. So yeah, I'd say let's just keep it to
Speed.
Yeah, I think as well they might have wanted to commit to this because he's American, and because a few years earlier he'd won the first, even though it was a complete farce, he'd won the Red Bull driver search in America, and he was the only one because the other winners didn't lasted less than a year before getting dropped. And the thing is that up until then he wasn't that bad. The thing is that car was so unreliable that there was not really, you couldn't really read much into him in İṛİᴜᴇ. There was the 06, I think it was the 06 race. He would have scored a point and then got the massive penalty. Other than that, just points didn't happen. But yeah, they might have committed to him for the rest of the year. So that doesn't change much on that front. I'm guessing it means that there's no possible chance of him getting a podium in Fuji, but they probably still would have had a fairly decent result in Shanghai.
Yeah.
So maybe Webber gets Red Bull's first podium. Or no, not their first, their third podium. Second, third. Monaco happened somewhere in another one.
Yeah. Otherwise, just to throw it out there, it could have been Bourdais because Bourdais was already obviously he got the seat in 2008. So yeah, I'd say Speedo Bourdais because they obviously wanted Bourdais at some point.
Bourdais signed for 08 around the same time that Vettel joined them, so that was quite early on that he
I will disagree with that one just purely on the basis that he was in the middle of his fourth title-winning champ car campaign, I think.
But that's his champ car. And he had won 3 of them.
Still, I think he'd wait it out. I think he'd wait it out.
You don't voluntarily give that up when it's like handed you on a plate. But yeah, so I think so that's easy enough. So for the rest of that, they keep Speed and then they get rid of him at the end of 07. So yeah, as we said before, that means Bourdais is already contracted. They probably just keep Liuzzi because he'd been fine up until then.
Important precision for anyone listening on Spotify or who's listening to YouTube, just audio. We have a screen. We are sharing a screen with all the driver developments we are having. We should have said that earlier, but yeah, tune in to the video this time because it's not just Peter, Nedzo, and the guests.
We have a spreadsheet listing the driver lineups for each season, and we'll update it as we go, basically.
Yeah.
With that in mind,
2008.
Let's copy some of these over the. Oh no, not Ham.
The main development, obviously, is while Peter is doing this, I will just fill in with what happens. Vettel had his first full-time season in 2008, and that's where I guess the video really starts because there is no Vettel, and we're going to have to replace him. And there are quite a few options, actually. Nedzo, who are you thinking of off the bat?
So as I say, I think Bourdais is pretty much confirmed in that. Obviously, you've got a few options. We've already talked about the likes of I've just completely forgotten. I've just completely forgotten. They've gone out of my head. The likes of words English. Dornbos would be a rogue pick. People like Adrian Sutil could have easily come from an impressive season at Spiker. We've talked about Sarko.
Schumacher doesn't retire, and
I think he's given up to be fair at the end of 2007 after Toyota. But he could have come back.
F1, you know.
Ralph, I don't think he would have wanted to stay on for a B team like that. He would have wanted something bigger.
I was like, Sato could have been a path into like Japanese engine suppliers. I'm trying to think of other drivers you could have potentially fit in. Why
would you want a Japanese engine supplier back then? That's a 10-year ahead investment.
A year before they all pull out as well. Less than a year to go.
He did test with them.
The thing is, he did, but that was after Super Aguri had collapsed.
Okay.
And they knew that they knew that Vettel was leaving as well.
Raghunathan tested for Alfa Romeo. The tests do not mean all that much.
I do think Suto, as I said, could be a rogue pick because he did well at Spiker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they shared that both Ferrari customers. At the top. Force India carried on that year with a Ferrari engine. There was no Ferrari driver academy. I'm not suggesting they would have then given a seat to Marc Genet or Luca Badoa or whoever.
Is Christian? No, he said Klein had fallen out, and I don't think he ever wanted to really. Go
no,
back
he by this point he was a Honda test driver as well.
Exactly. So maybe go. Were there any options from the academy that stood out? Not really, I would say back then.
I mean,
not Buemi, maybe.
But it's very
early for Buemi.
It's too early for Buemi. The others are just nobodies really. Just Michael Aleshin.
No.
John Edwards has gone. Philip Eng was gone. Oliver Oakes, the Alpine and high tech team principal.
What did the 2007 GP2 standings look like?
GP2 2007. Well, who won it? That was Glock. Glock won the title. At the top,
Glock from Degrassi.
Degrassi was a Renault test driver, so Giorgio Pantano was third.
Wow.
Luca Filippi, Kazuki
There was
Nakajima.
that was at the time where GP2 didn't produce much.
Yeah,
Just after
these are
Lewis,
all like
just
yeah,
after Lewis and Nico, there were a lot of rejects from not winning because of Lewis and Nico.
yeah. Karun Chandok was a Red Bull Junior in 07, but he finished 15th. He got a win, but it was 15th in GP2. Adrian Zaug was nowhere. But even Buemi, well, Buemi only did half the season. Yeah, it wasn't a brilliant year, 2007 for.
Is there
G-
any option where we consider they keep, as you said, either Liuzzi or Speed alongside Borde?
I think there's the biggest case is that they just keep Liuzzi
Yeah.
with Bourdais. I mean, that was the really obvious one.
Because they just generally didn't have a lot of breadth in terms of talent at the time.
No, it wasn't a brilliant time, but because they were so invested in Vettel and he made up for that. So yeah, Liuzzi, Bourdais. The car's better, certainly. Bourdais, as well as having bad luck, he's obviously just not well adjusted to Formula One and the way it goes.
Is there a
Liuzzi,
win at Monza, home win for Liuzzi at Monza? Imagine.
Maybe, but the thing is, as a driver, he doesn't have many like amazing moments in his F1 career. He was
The
just
only thing I actually remember him for, like as an actual moment, was him crashing at Monza in 2011.
Yeah, I
yeah.
was going to
That's the
say
thing.
him going sideways is the only one.
At HRT, he was really good until Ricciardo showed up.
Even then, I'd say he was better than Ricciardo.
He was getting beaten by Satil a lot at Force India the year before. Otherwise, he did a couple of races of Red Bull, and then he was just having an easy ride against Speed at Toro Rosso, and then got shafted by Vettel. A win, maybe, because
Podium was more likely.
The
like
thing
third place.
had he not stalled, Bourdais would have been on the podium with Seb.
Yes.
I
think even like you could argue that the confidence boost from having a worse teammate might put Bourdais up in the top 3 or top 2 on the grid anyway.
Yeah. Well, he still would have been getting beaten, just not quite so much, I think, by him.
The same at Spa. At Spa, Bourdais was on for a podium that a lot
and then the
of
wet
people
weather
forget.
came.
Then,
yeah.
And then the wet weather came.
Yeah, exactly. So he was running third on pure pace, and then the wet weather came, and he got shafted and finished 7th, I think.
I've just thought of another amazing rogue pick. Someone who did a test for what Toro Rosso used to be, a Minardi in 2004, and his previous GP2 campaign was quite weak, but Pastor Maldonado could have brought a lot of money to that team.
Not in 08.
It's way too early for Maldonado.
Not in 08.
He did what, one half of GP2, and there was a win, but yeah.
And the thing is, at the time, Red Bull and Toro Rosso didn't even have a lot of rumors going because, as you said, they were so focused on Vettel, and they had these stalwarts and Coulthard and Webber who had just joined in 07. So the only big rumor that there was is that they offered a big contract to Alonso to join in 08. We're not going to mess up the entire system by saying, oh, if they didn't have Vettel, they would have offered a bigger contract to Alonso in 08 to join Red Bull, and maybe they would have demoted Coulthard to Toro Rosso. So let's not go there. I'm just throwing it out there, that reminding people that famously Alonso had a huge contract offer. Newey and Alonso met 2 or 3 times that year, and Alonso said that his clear objective was to go to Ferrari, and indeed, he signed for Ferrari sometime in 2008, I think. He signed for 2010. So he
was already contracted to them.
Exactly.
I think in general, Liuzzi, he would have been beating Bourdais, but there would have been the odd points result here. But the car, it wouldn't have been like, oh, this guy's the next big thing. It would have been just like, oh, they're doing all right, and yeah. But the thing is,
having listened to the Liuzzi Beyond the Grid, though, he has always said that he was meant to be a much longer part of the Red Bull family, because Liuzzi as a karter was absolutely insane. Like, he was one of the best karters ever. He was extremely highly rated, and then it just wasn't really coming together at Toro Rosso. And then when Vettel comes around, there was quite a big fight with the Red Bull management. I don't remember if it was Horner or Marco, but they basically drop him. So it's definitely not out there to say that Liuzzi enjoys a little spell at Toro Rosso for a bit because there was talent somewhere. Not saying that
Yeah.
it's a win, but
Either way, 2009, Coulthard still would have retired. Weber staying on. Again, the obvious choice is they probably would have just put Liuzzi up. But this is still before they were this like big superstar team, and they just kind of
I think they would have hired from outside because I don't think Liuzzi was a driver who really deserved. I know
that's a
Red
good
Bull was
point.
a powerhouse.
he'd have been with Toro Rosso for 3 years at this point. They would have. I mean, they must have thought, well, we guess we should do that, or we should try it. They didn't necessarily know the car was going to be a rocket ship.
So Bruno Senna was linked with Toro Rosso. Nick Heidfeld also was linked with Toro Rosso, but obviously he chose to stay at BMW because it was a better decision. Yeah, as you said, there wasn't much because at that time there was still a drinks company that wasn't doing great. Got started. I mean, literally the junior team was beating the main team. So I fully agree with Nedzo that I don't think they would have promoted Liuzzi, but at the same time, there was not a lot going for them at the.
There's nobody else in the junior team. They would have realistically said, okay, they can leapfrog Toro Rosso and go into the big team straight off. Like, I think Liuzzi, because he would have had 3 reasonably competent seasons, and then Bourdais is just a massive disappointment that it would have gone to Liuzzi.
Who leaves the sport after 2008?
Only Coulthard, I think.
Yeah, that was one of the least changes.
It was one of those ones where every team was basically the same in 2009.
Yeah, okay, so it does make it easy in terms of that aspect, but it also makes it harder for us to think of something viable unless we do just.
Could Sato have come in?
Sato was linked.
Actually, because of course he did, because as we said, he did test with them, and that wasn't like a Ragunathan test. It was a shootout basically to look at getting Bourdais. Yeah, and then they gave it to Buemi instead. So I think Sato would have been taken. I don't know if he would. The thing is, he failed to get the Toro Rosso seat, so there's no. You can't say then he would have got the Red Bull one straight off.
I might go and Google the test and see if I can find any times or anything.
It's just that his times were probably better than Buemi, but they just chose Buemi because he was a junior and was doing all right in everything.
Do you think they'd have chosen Sato over Liuzzi?
Maybe.
No, for Red Bull or for Toro Rosso?
Red Bull.
I mean, they would have only done this if Sato was like, "I'm willing to completely cut ties with Honda, and become your bitch," and that.
Albeit, I think you should start filling 2009 in the meantime while we make a decision, because there's one big thing I wanted to say for the end of 2009, and that is that there was this very famous test of Sebastian Loeb with Toro Rosso, and he wanted to join. Again, I don't know if we want to make this a completely alternate timeline where Red Bull do not have the Vettel wow factor going, so they're like, okay, we actually need a big name, and they make that Loeb thing happen and somehow challenge the FIA's decision to not give him a super license. But throwing it out there, that was about the biggest news you had going around the Red Bull factory at the time.
I mean, okay, if with Loeb, he would have gone to Toro Rosso if they had chosen him, but then they would have had to either deny that to Buemi or just get rid of Bourdais, who they seemed to want to keep on, even though he'd been very disappointing.
That was at the end of the season anyway, so it doesn't really impact the grid we're doing right now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Maybe 2010, but so should we just promote Liuzzi and have Buemi, or are we?
I think it would have just been Weber Liuzzi in Red Bull. Weber Liuzzi.
But shout out to Sato, because last time we did this, which was, I think it was the No Hamilton video where Kobayashi ended up having a 9-year career in Formula One, and Ciaron was like, why has Kobayashi been the biggest beneficiary?
I can't even remember how we did that.
Because we removed Hamilton and we promoted Sutil at some point, or removed Sutil, and then we just said that Kobayashi just stays at Sauber for like 2014
for the rest of time. Yeah.
So this time we are not promoting Japanese drivers, to change a bit. So now 2010.
Okay, now there are some changes in a lot of the team comps. So let's think about this. But actually, no, we need to talk about 09, how that would have gone first.
So
Because
they have a better
Red Bull has suddenly got a rocket ship, and they've got Weber
That
and
is
Liuzzi
true.
in it. Yeah.
I think it could have been like a 2024 McLaren situation, just less so because Webber was somewhat competent in that year. I think that Liuzzi would have got a handful of podiums, maybe, but I think overall people would have realised he really wasn't up to standard. So I think they might have taken a punt on someone like, is it Buemi? Because obviously Buemi start of the season and did decently well. I think Bourdais would have come good because I think with the lack of drivers, I don't think they'd have been as so easy to drop him like they did in the middle of 2009. I know Al Jaswari was always available, but I think it would be quite harsh to just completely drop him like that. I think they would have waited until the end of the season. But
Well, I mean, it's the same lineup as in real life, so I don't think it would have changed much. Between he still would have been getting walked all over by Buemi, so they still would have brought in Al Jaswari midway through.
The question is, would they promote, because they've promoted up a kind of average junior like Toro Rosso driver, so would they do the same again and just replace Liuzzi with Buemi, or would they recruit from outside, do you think?
No, for the interest of stability, I think they would have kept that lineup for the whole season because the car was competitive.
I'm talking about the 2010. Because, as I said, so the reason why they brought in Liuzzi was because the other junior drivers were just doing quite mid and there was no one really better.
Yeah.
So would they do the exact same thing again because there was no one really better? Do they just put someone else in, or do they just?
Well, let's just finish with 2009, so then we can close that chapter. So 09, there is no Vettel. That means Webber is clear number one driver. Probably finishes. Do you think that leads to Webber finishing second in the standings over Barrichello, for example, or still third? I mean, he gets promoted to third.
It's hard to. Well, I mean, Liuzzi. I don't think Liuzzi would have been. Liuzzi might have taken a win somewhere, but yeah, it still would have been like, well, we're just not quick enough. Or again, like as in real life, Braun built too much of a lead, but a lot of that lead was built by Vettel making so many mistakes early on.
How many?
So
what
Webber
was
finishes
Webber's season like?
How many poles?
What'd you say?
How many poles do Webber get?
I said, what was Webber's start of the season like? Like, how many points did he get while Vettel?
I think he was behind him because he was just slow. Like 2009.
Well, anyway, the main thing was that Red Bull understood that Vettel had much more potential, so there were like talks of not having similar treatment and kind of.
Oh yeah, Webb was all over the place the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it would have been something like.
Did he finish fourth in the championship or fifth?
Fourth, yeah.
I think he would have got third.
There were 5 races where he finished outside the points. Liuzzi just somewhere around there. They would have been quite even. I don't know if they would have thought like, oh well, we'll get rid of you because we're expecting better. But it would have been like, well, if they're basically matching each other, we can't necessarily say that one of them is obviously worse than the other. It's just.
I still don't think that Liuzzi will be matching him. I still think that if Webber's getting wins in places like the Nürburgring, I think he's getting podiums at best.
Yeah. But anyway, whatever happens, okay, we're done with 2009. Let's think about 2010. So Webber is obviously there. Peter, you can keep filling in the other ones. Because the good thing with Red Bull is it does not have a lot of impact on any of the other drivers at this stage. But we do have the issue of what happens, because as Nedzo said, and I agree with that, Liuzzi will not have performed very well in 2010, but they will have seen that the progress is happening. And by the time we started 2010, Red Bull was meant to be among the 3 contenders, maybe just under Ferrari, McLaren. No one expected the rocket ship, I think, apart from Coulthard, that famous video. That, by the way, if you guys have seen that video everywhere on social media, I found it in 2020 and everyone has stolen it from me. Back to the video. Yeah. Liuzzi, I would say he stays for 2010, and then you get a mid-season swap, possibly. Now, I don't even know who we would do that with. Are we giving a chance to Buemi
Yeah.
or something?
I feel like they would only do that on the basis that, well, Webber in this timeline, Webber probably does take the title.
Mm.
But I don't know who they might have then. I don't know. They might have then given Buemi a go in it because him and Aldasari were both actually quite good as a pair, and then they just got rid of both of them.
I think when it comes to discussing 2010, I think we should start with Toro Rosso because Nav briefly mentioned him. Are we putting Loeb in one of the seats?
Mm.
Because if we put Loeb in one of the seats, we can then say potentially if he does, let's say, perform well, because if he gets to F1, surely he's gonna. Because if he's done well in all the tests and he's done enough to prove everyone wrong in that way, surely he can get to F1 and he can perform well. If he overcomes all the hurdles to get to F1, it should be easy to do it while he's in there. I think that
The decision we're making is: are we keeping it realistic or making it batshit crazy? And I think as Peter will probably look at it in a more realistic way on his channel at some point, we could go batshit crazy and put Loeb in that timeline just to make it interesting for the viewers.
That being said, we do need to rewind a year because something we've forgotten is what happened at Ferrari in 2009. Because Badoa went there, and then Fisichella, and then Liuzzi took Fisichella's seat at Force India.
Ooh.
And so with him at Red Bull, we need someone to go in the Force India.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because he
give
was.
It to Gary Buffett. Give it to Gary Buffett. Move on. Give it to Gary Buffett and move on.
Give it to Gary Buffett.
Okay. Fine.
Well,
Well, actually, the thing is, Mercedes customer team.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have any other test drivers Force India because it was only Liuzzi.
Yeah, I'm not fully joking. I think they would have he would have been a big option because I'm looking at the rumors as well. It was between Buffett, De La Rosa, Di Resta. I mean, all of these Mercedes reserves, McLaren or Mercedes reserves. So if it was not Buffett, it might have been De La Rosa actually, because he used to always. It could have been yet another team where De La Rosa gets a gig.
Because De La Rosa, he went to Sauber just because he wanted to race somewhere.
Yeah.
What about Heidfeld?
He was still at BMW Sauber.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah. He's not going to switch from BMW to Mercedes. Well, actually, he literally did in 2010. Okay, yeah. So
no, it would have been. It would have been De La Rosa or Buffett. I'm like 99% sure.
Oh yeah, no. Let's say Paffett, I guess, if we think, because then we have to try and put someone in the Sauber.
Oh, you meant for like 2010? Okay, no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, the thing is actually by this one, because the thing is, Sauber only came back right at the last minute, so I think that they probably would have already signed Paffett for 2010. So Satil and Paffett maybe Force India.
That's why because he wasn't in the seat.
No, Fisichella
really wanted a seat. He could have gone there for sure, but I think by then
he would have just gone back to Force India probably, but he obviously
but the thing is, you need to think when Fisichella gets the Ferrari contract in 2009, that was like his lifetime objective, and then he has been a Ferrari factory driver since, and he's been driving GT.
He's not going to go back. He's not going to go back to Force India. So I think it would have been Satil Paffett in that. Yeah.
Bruno Senna said that he had talks, but I just put Buffett because
he didn't he test with Honda? I think he did something with Braun. He did some tests with them in 2009. Yeah,
he did. Yeah,
I mean that was never going to happen, but you know. So then Toyota's gone, so I'll shift them out of the way. Then it leaves. So now the Red Bull. We're keeping Liuzzi on 2010
also out Super Aguri, so then we have the three teams.
Not that they're probably going to be. I can't imagine they'll be affected that much by this, but you never know.
Yeah. Well, technically yes, because Liuzzi joins HRT, so.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna have to put some random.
We'll cross that bridge.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put some random sub-Saharan African driver in HRT with all the money or something.
Yeah. An extremely young Pascal Wehrlein. I don't know. So did we back to 2010? Did we say that they're keeping initially at least it's Webber and Liuzzi?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
That's capitals.
Yeah. But Toro Rosso, it's gonna be Buemi and Al Jaswari.
Yeah.
at least at the start. I think Toro Rosso wouldn't change, but yeah, okay. Well, that's a fairly straightforward 2010. So then, if we assume that makes Webber champion in 2010,
So add a champion row on the very right, and you can put Webber there, but also
I'd put it next to the years, to be honest, but oh well.
No, that's fine.
I'll just do the real ones.
Yeah. So that's us done with 2010 as Peter fills in the spreadsheet, and we 2011 with Mark Webber as world champion. I think that's not a hard decision to make at that point because he was obviously very much in the title race, and he would not have had another Red Bull driver to take his points. Thinking about it, I don't know if it's that simple, but let's just keep it that simple because
yeah, we can't be asked otherwise.
Vettel was not in the anyway. Let's just say
upon reflection, Interlagos 2008 would have been much less interesting because there would have been no Vettel to pass Hamilton right at the last second.
Yeah,
put him out of contention, and
So
it wouldn't have been. It would,
2011.
yeah.
2011, we have, I think, Luzzi out because, well, I don't know actually because they would have probably won the drivers, but not the constructors for sure.
Yeah.
And do they go
I think they got
along
the
the
constructors
2020s
very.
Red Bull approach?
I'm pretty certain they got the constructors very comfortably in 2010.
But it's a question. It's a question of how bad does Luzzi do? Does he do a 2010 Felipe Massa or does he do a 2012 Felipe?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's what I
the thing is, I don't know if he's going to be quite. I mean, okay, let's look at. I'm looking at how he did in his Force India seat compared to Satil. Satil got 47 points. Luzzi got 21.
And bearing in mind, Satil's not as good a driver as Mark Webber.
Satil was mid. I mean, he was for 3 years. He was everyone's favorite underdog because he couldn't score points. And then he just disappeared into nothingness.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of constructors, I mean, yeah, Red Bull, they got it by 44 points, so it could well have gone to McLaren. They would have still got second. Because I don't think he would have, lost 100 points or something, but.
Well, 2011 is when Luzzi goes to HRT, right?
In real life, yeah. In real life,
I mean, that would have been the downgrade of the century if that had happened
so
in this.
let's think about that later on. Let's keep on to Red Bull for now.
Yeah.
There was not a. I have one now. Raikkonen had his. He was not a. Well, it was dismissed as talks for 2010. There were rumors that Raikkonen and Red Bull had held talks in 2010. It was dismissed as speculation, I think, recently or a few years ago. But didn't he get like a kind of gardening leave after leaving Ferrari?
It was 2 years, so he couldn't come back until 2012. Yeah, so he still can't come back.
Aww.
Well, Ciaron would have said that maybe he negotiates to not something, but yeah. Yeah, if Ciaron was here, Raikkonen is definitely at Red Bull in 2011, and he wins the next 3. But no Raikkonen. None of the drivers who are out of the fray are interesting, right? There's still only Takuma Sato. Michael Schumacher has gone Mercedes.
Okay, so Force India, because in real life they dropped Satil for Di Resta, or they dropped. They dropped Liuzzi. No, Liuzzi was dropped for Di Resta. So, but that's Satil and Paffett. Do they still want to bring Di Resta in, or does he?
Because Di Resta was the Resta driver.
I mean, do we assume that Paffett is useless for 1 year and they just don't want him anymore?
Another driver we've forgotten about is Jules Bianchi.
Ferrari Junior.
And he also did test for Force India at this around about this time.
That was in 2012 when he was loaned over as their Friday driver.
I'd say put Di Resta for now. Di Resta was well rated. Was very much well rated.
Yeah. This period from 2010 to 14 is when all the midfield teams, there was this avalanche of just nobody drivers that did Friday sessions all the time, and there's loads of those you could throw
James
in.
Collado, Oliver Turvey, Sam Bird.
What's that? Rodolfo Gonzalez was one of them, and
I found out literally like a few weeks ago that Robert Wickens had a Formula One session. I had no idea that he did.
Oh yeah, he did. Who was those? Hopin Tung, Ma Qinghua, Danny Close. Who's that guy? Who's the one from Honda? James something.
James Walker.
James
Rossiter.
Rossiter. Yeah, that he was another one.
Oh, I was thinking,
I-
I didn't know that in like I think it was either 2010 or 2011. I didn't know that Alain Prost and Damon Hill did a test for Red Bull.
Huh?
I don't know
But
why.
that's not a real test. It's just them having fun with their money.
Yeah,
It's
that, I
not
mean,
real.
Prost did that. He pissed about in like 100 cars after he retired.
I mean, why not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Damon
why
Hill. That
not?
was Damon Hill. That was probably a segment for the BBC or something. I don't know. So yeah, we've got 3 vacant teams to fill because Paffett is Paffett just done like after all
I
that?
think
Yeah,
so.
with the
Okay,
Resta, the Resta was very well rated at the time.
Sutdeer, Satil de Resta.
But the Resta was the one who prevented Vettel from winning. Which one was it?
They were teammates.
Euro Series.
I think that they were
Then
teammates
DTM
in that.
did it.
Yeah, and he beat him.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So Webber's staying at Red Bull.
Yeah.
Liuzzi, is he getting demoted to HRT? He wouldn't get demoted that badly.
No.
He goes to Toro Rosso, or we throw him out completely.
I think we throw him out because he's had like how many seasons now, and he's kind of.
Thing. I can't imagine he would have been as colossally bad as Checo has been, where he gets thrown out and there's nowhere to go.
He could have gone to.
I think we swapped him with Buemi. I think we swapped him.
Swap him with Buemi, maybe. Yeah.
Where did Vernon Ricardo come in?
The following year.
Okay.
Yeah. Webb. I guess we're going to try that. Webbu, and then Alglia or.
Yeah, because again, this is not just us being too easy with this. That there was no one in the Red Bull Academy that was doing
now
that.
I need to think.
Acosta will become an issue soon, I think.
Okay, now I need to think HRT. Senna's gone to Thing.
Come on.
He was still contracted to McLaren. He'd gone back to McLaren. I don't think because he became the Pirelli test driver for a bit and then went back to McLaren. But okay, well, Carter Kane's going to be in there. Josef Kral tested with them. I think that was 2010.
The HRT rumors that I have are very interestingly. Nico Hülkenberg did not have a drive, so there was a chance that Williams would loan him for a season. If we want to be interesting with that, then you have some of the random MFs that you mentioned, and yeah, it's really just all those. If Nedzo wants Maldonado in there, we could throw in Maldonado.
I mean, Maldonado did drive for them at the Abu Dhabi test. He drove for HRT, but I think by then he'd already signed for Williams.
I think Hülkenberg is up there.
Josef Kral did one. Davide Valsecchi drove for them at one point as well. There was some other guy no one's heard of. Yeah.
Can I also just say, could you think that because Hülkenberg was now a free agent, he could have joined the Red Bull fold because they had no one else who was any good?
Yeah, but he was not a free agent. He was still with Williams.
Was he?
No. He was a reserve driver for Force India in 2011.
Do you think if Red Bull had offered him a seat at Toro Rosso that he'd have gone for it?
I don't know. That would have been a little bit of a downgrade from Williams, but not much.
No, but he did not have a seat, Peter. You do need to realize he had no other.
Yeah, well, this is back in the day when people willingly became test drivers if they knew there was a guarantee they'd get a seat the following year, which was the case with him.
Yeah.
Or if he knew that Satil was going to stab someone in the neck with a champagne glass. I don't know. I don't think he would have gone to HRT, to be honest.
I think he could have. I think he would have gone to Toro Rosso. I think it could be an option instead of Liuzzi. I really don't like Liuzzi just going from Red Bull back to Toro Rosso.
Yeah, Liuzzi going to HRT is boring because that's what happened in real life.
No, but that would never have happened in real life.
No, you wouldn't go from the opposite end of the grid to that.
We did think that might have. We say that Damon Hill did do.
Yeah, but the Arrows they weren't at the back. They weren't Minardi or even fucking Mastercard Lola. Like, and what's the other one? Again, Bottas to Alpha in 22. Alfa Romeo in 22 were actually quite good for the first 10 races at least. They weren't the kick Sauber that they are now.
it's not Fittipaldi joining his brother's team either.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say we can just throw in a random. Just put in Chandok again.
Maybe actually
Um,
Senna wasn't he wasn't at Renault yet because they started with Heidfeld and Petrov, so maybe Senna just stays. Maybe it's just Senna and
or Yamamoto or someone like that. Come on.
Senna Carter. I mean, Yamamoto's he well money, but also he was a reserve driver for 4 races for Virgin. Yeah, just say Senna Carter Kayan.
This is
Okay.
an incredible lineup. Senna Kortikayan, by the way.
Yeah. It's
Reads well. So who wins the championship? Webber wins again then, for sure.
Oh yeah,
It's
with that
2011.
car. I mean, even though he was the other this is another thing, and this is something that Karen has always said is that Webber actually did not enjoy the Pirelli tires, and he did not adjust well, whereas Vettel loved them, and so I feel like that's gonna the new tire compounds are definitely going to play a role in here.
Because he
But
didn't
for 11, he
finish
was
second in real life, did he?
No, in real life he was.
Alonso finished second in 2011.
He was third. He was
How
12
many points was he
behind
behind Alonso?
He beat Alonso
Just behind.
by okay. Webber beat Alonso by 1 point.
Oh, sorry, I meant Button. I thought Alonso was second.
He was 12 points. He was 12
Yeah,
points
Button was
behind
second,
Button,
yeah.
and Button was
Okay.
122 points behind Vettel.
He would have made up that to Button with the better car, I think, and like the better, like the worst teammate. I think, yeah, we can say he's champion.
Even with him stalling in every single race, it would have, yeah.
Yeah.
How many
Webber
second
wins for
places?
sure.
He only won 1 race that year. He finished second twice. In races that Vettel both won. God, he was bad. That bit, although actually no, every race except Italy, he was top 5. Yeah, Webber just scrapes it.
Yeah.
And he becomes even more of a meme than Lando Norris is at the moment, because Webber was the original I cannot start a race. He used to always lose 10 positions at
The
start.
British media are tearing their hair out because everyone can tell Webber sucks, and he's still just scraping titles because the car's a rocket ship.
The British media, maybe the Commonwealth media.
Yeah.
And at that point, Alonso is probably wanting to die as well. But I don't think that now that Red Bull have Webber and they have a guy who's winning, even though not by that much, they would not know how fast that Red Bull actually is. So
yeah,
it's
I
not a
think
situation
Webber
where
probably
they're
would have
like,
been
"We need to
because he's
get
beating his incredibly mid teammates and getting championships, so he's not exactly going to complain.
Yeah. So yeah, let's
So-
move to 2012.
Yeah.
2012, as you can start filling in the other
Yeah.
teams that aren't relevant. How do we think that Buemi did in 2011? Do they keep him another season? Because I think he would have done better than Liuzzi, maybe.
Well, the problem is with because a lot of people said, and it is what people have said since then, that Buemi and Aldersuara being dropped at the end of 2011, was really unfair, and that they've both done decent enough jobs to stay over people like Vernon and Ricardo. See, for the past 5 seasons, we've been trying to draw blood from a stone when it comes to Red Bull and Red Juniors. Now we've got Webber, we've got Buemi, we've got Aldersuari, we've got Ricardo, we've got Vern, we've got, I think, Antonio Felix da Costa was in the junior lineup at some point. We have tons of drivers. Robin Frines, I'm not sure if he was Red Bull, but he was a driver who was in and about.
He was. Yeah, by this
Frines.
point, the junior team was actually quite good by the turn of the decade.
Right, so who's going to kick us off then?
In 2011, do we say that Duty goes through a Perez phase? He's so depressed that he got dropped from Red Bull that he didn't perform well, and maybe sometime in 2011 he put Ricardo in that car. So in 2012, Ricardo is for the anyway. Ricardo was in Toro Rosso in 2012. So was he? Yeah. Yeah. So Ricardo is there for sure.
Oh yeah, well of course he would have done the mid-season swap still at HRT the year before. Ricardo, Aldersuari, would they have still just got rid of him, or
that's the thing? Do we think Liuzzi does well, or is he depressed
I think
now?
I don't know. You said Liuzzi. I thought you said Buemi. I would have feel like he'd be a bit. It would have been like Kvyat getting sent back to Toro Rosso, who just everything goes to shit. Yeah, so I think they probably get rid of him. The thing is that they would have. Ricardo was absolutely moving up. Vern might still too anyway, because Al-Jawsari at this point he's been there for 2.5 years. Even though 2011 was his best year and Buemi's, and then they just got rid of both of them.
Where was Vern in 2011? Like, what junior series was he in?
Was
I think
doing well in Formula Renault 3.5, I think.
Yeah. Same with Ricardo.
Yeah.
Okay.
When he wasn't in
Red Bull
F1.
used to send them there because obviously Renault engines
Yeah.
partnership. That's why they didn't do GP2. But yeah, so do we think they dropped both junior drivers? Would they have been that ruthless?
I think
at that
Liuzzi's
point?
getting dropped either way, and then he just
Mm.
disappears.
I think one of them's someone's got to go up and replace Buemi for me if he's not doing well.
I feel like Buemi would do well, though. This is the thing, because he was good at Toro Rosso, and he's good in everything else he's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I think he would. I think he would have been good at Red Bull.
Okay, so let's fill in that Red Bull gap.
It's Webu
And-
again.
Yeah.
I've left Renault vacant because Kimi factor, but I don't know. Probably not.
But I think there is no Kimi
Or
factor now. that he's filled
Lotus.
in
I
with-
think he just comes back as himself with Grosjean.
Okay, but yeah, as you said, there would have been a discussion. Do you think? Oh wait, maybe Newey would have wanted Kimi in the 2012 car because he's like, this guy is the best guy who can drive my cars. Whatever,
And he's
whatever,
worked with them
whatever.
before. And
Yeah.
Exactly, I
Weber,
am
Weber,
speaking for that.
Weber and Kimi together. I mean, Kimi would have done that because he has the street cred to demand it on his comeback to put me in the best car. But then
Yeah, and I feel like
that is a huge betrayal to Buemi after one probably quite good year to then throw him out to bring in Kimi.
but
Or
I
maybe Mark
feel
gets,
that could have been an option.
or maybe Mark Webber gets angry that they place in a guy after he's won 2 titles with them, and then decides to retire or something like that, so he can keep Buemi.
I don't think Weber's retiring after 2 titles.
But he retired soon after. No?
Yeah, because he was getting fucked in the arse for 5 years by Vettel. But in this case, when he's still winning everything, he's not gonna. I don't think it's like Rosberg, where it just completely took it out of him to win 1 title, and that was all he needed. Maybe he would have at the end of 2013 because he sees the writing on the wall with the hybrid stuff, and thinks that's enough. I don't know, because by then he's pushing 40.
Okay, so the big one we have to decide here is, do we put Raikkonen in that Red Bull or not? Or do they keep Buemi?
I think it's unlikely. I feel like it would have still been Renault, because that by the end that was Petrov and Senna, and then they got rid of both of them at the end of that year. So they had 2 vacant seats.
Yeah, but if Raikkonen is contacted by the champion team in 2011 sometime in 2011, and
I feel like Weber would have been consulted and probably vetoed that. I get the feeling he wouldn't have wanted that at all.
okay, I feel like that could have happened, the Weber Raikkonen, and then we get something interesting in 12. But
Yeah, but if we go, Liuzzi's been fired into the sun. Al-Jawsari's just gone, so I guess it's just Rick and Jev.
Yep.
And then
HRT is the same. It's DLR and R.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think if this happens, Alonso is champion. We can say that much. Somehow, because Weber's not beating Alonso. Alon. It's the cable from the microphones fucking my muscle memory up.
where it becomes interesting is 2013, because whoever is in that Red Bull would have to beat Alonso to the title, and at that time Alonso was like, everyone talks about Alonso's 2012, but in 2013 Alonso was arguably made less I don't remember Alonso making a lot of mistakes.
No, he had that broken front wing in Malaysia, but
that wasn't his fault.
No, but the thing is, the second half of the season, the Red Bull was just so fast.
Yeah,
because the tires
but
was
that
so
was
bad.
helped by the tire thingy.
Well, they switched them back to the old compounds because the tire blowouts in Singapore, Silverstone.
I think whoever finishes the season does not win 9 in a row for sure. Maybe, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no, absolutely not. I think they
Yeah,
can
not
still
nine.
do it, but just they're not going to like annihilate everybody. So I think Webber
But you're
could
gonna
probably.
keep Buemi.
Again, there's no reason to get rid of him. He would have still been perfectly good at this point, unless. I mean, I don't know if they would have moved Ricardo up that fast because I think he got beaten by Vern in 2012.
He did. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they would have just like Buemi, this is fine. Like, yeah. Um.
Okay, interesting. Well, let's move to 2013. Yeah.
Okay, so McLaren, Butper.
But yeah, that Kimi option irks me because I feel like there would have been potential for Kimi to move there. I don't know if that's completely gone now that we haven't done it for 2012. Like if it's an option for 2013.
And we didn't
or not.
mention Hamilton or Alonso potentially to Red Bull in 2013 either.
No.
Well, again, I don't. Well, the thing is, it's like, would they have realistically got rid of either of those two for? I get that he's a superstar, but Webber would have probably said no to Hamilton. And
Yeah, but
they,
Webber at that point would have gotten old, and in 2012, beaten by Alonso or getting beaten by Alonso, maybe Red Bull would have been like,
you say old,
okay,
35, and only what 2 or 3 years older than Nando, but
yeah,
He was born in 76, so he would have been 36, and he's 5 years older than that.
5 years. He's
Right.
5 years older. Yeah.
God, he
But
was
yeah,
10 years
it's an
older than
interesting
Vettel.
perspective because Hamilton obviously leaves in 2012. Nothing changes from real life because he doesn't gain a title from all of this, but he is a free agent for 13. He still goes to Merck, or does Red Bull offer him a contract? I think Red Bull. I think we're being a bit too lenient with Red Bull and Webber because they would have seen Webber not being as good, and they would have gone for either Kimi or Lewis. I don't know if Lewis would have gone for that. But
they've got to bring a superstar in at some point.
I think Lewis over he would have chosen Red Bull over Mercedes, absolutely, with the way they were.
Yeah. Do we want to put? So are we saying Webber retires, or are we saying Buemi gets kicked out?
Maybe Buemi does just get kicked to bring in Lewis. I don't know, or Raikkonen as well might have been thinking, because I think the team were like, well, he's bankrupting us by scoring all these points and that.
Maybe. Nav is muted. I'm not sure if.
And yeah, because Michael is still retiring, so then Mercedes have to throw somebody in there, don't they?
Maybe Michael doesn't retire because of all this.
Well, no, he's still retiring. He wouldn't have, like, he didn't retire like, oh, I want to give Hamilton a chance. It was because he knew he was done.
okay, so we're not replacing Buemi in 2013. We're saying he would have done 3 years there.
Probably, yeah. And it was just kind of waiting for Webber to fuck off, and then he can be lead driver. That's in his eyes, at least.
But do we put in? So we're not changing Hamilton or Raikkonen around into that Red Bull seat.
I mean, Buemi to Renault, like he's
but...
he's French adjacent, so like maybe he would have considered it. But in his eyes, he would have thought, well, Webber's got to give up eventually, and then I'm the top dog.
Yeah.
Even if maybe
like
he would have seen that
we could do a very spicy Buemi Raikkonen swap for 2013.
Yeah, maybe he would have been like, oh well, I can see Ricardo and Vern coming up and probably usurping me, and because Al Jaswari fell behind. Yeah, maybe do that, something like that.
In 2012, you would have seen Webber not win the title to Alonso, and Kimi. If Red Bull had any doubts, even though I doubt they would have had doubts on Kimi, they would have seen Kimi at Lotus tear it apart and be excellent. So I feel like they might have swapped it, and as you said, Buemi, Renault, there's a connection there. France.
Buemi, yeah, it's like, well, I'm almost French, so whether they would have, because him and Grosjean and all Swiss. I mean, Grosjean is again, Switzerland's not a real country, so it doesn't count anyway. But like, he was born in Geneva, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like sort of Swiss.
Also, I just want to put it's Lotus, by the way.
Yeah. Just to make things interesting,
but it was
could swap them.
didn't Lotus still have a French license at this point, or Eric Boulier was running it, or I don't know.
Eric Billier was running it, but I think it. I'm not sure if it had a British.
Would this
license,
be
but
the first all-Swiss team ever, or was there someone that partnered probably Regazzoni back in the day?
maybe Silvio Moser and what's his face, Joseph Eyre.
Yeah, maybe that's it. First all-Swiss team. Yeah, that's okay. So Grosjean and Buemi, Grobu, Lotus, and then Webber's joined by Kimi.
Yeah.
Does
And
that
then
mean
Kimi wins
then
a
Kimi
second.
takes? Yeah, Kimi wins the title, and then Webber's like, I'm retiring. This is it.
And
Does Alonso
Carbon
then go to Red Bull to partner Kimi?
Well, now, oh yeah, you've got Ricardo at like the total opposite of him.
Yeah, so Webber gets smashed by Raikkonen and retires. Now we have a valid reason to retire him.
Yeah.
So now we're on to 2014, new regulations. Webber has been beaten twice when he shouldn't have. And everyone is really happy because two-time champion Kimi, he gets what he deserved, whatever, from previously. And they promote Ricardo anyway, yes. Then at Renault, yeah, they keep Grosjean Buemi, I'd say. Now, this gives us an opportunity at Toro Rosso to promote either Da Costa or Fines. I don't remember who was the more senior one. I'll just check. I know that in previous videos we also did that. So I think when there was no Verstappen, we did. I don't know if we chose Da Costa or Fines, but we did.
Where's
one of them.
Kvyat in this?
Oh, well, 2014 he still moved up because he won GP3.
Yeah. Why don't we?
Yeah.
I think everyone was a bit surprised because of Da Costa was kind of was older and kind of better, and Fines as well was fairly half decent.
I also see the open slots in Ferrari. I did quietly mention, but do you think Alonso, with his calculated bad moves, would have gone from Ferrari to Red Bull at the start of the turbo hybrid era?
No, but if Raikkonen was there, then no. If Raikkonen
they're not going to put Alonso in there instead of Ricardo.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, because Kvyat, because he won GP3, which is like going.
But in 2013, Alonso would have been like, "Fuck my life, I should have gone."
Yeah, but yeah, it's the equivalent of taking what's that Italian person who can't win anything, moving him up to somewhere. What is his
Who's
name?
the Italian person
Leonardo
who can't win
Fornaroli,
anything?
the one that won F3. It's like
Oh.
putting him in a seat this year, leapfrogging F2. That's what they did with Kvyat. But okay, so
Bottas went from GP3 straight to F1.
yeah, they did back then. They could just do that. So Fornaroli 3.5 because that year 2013, yeah, Magnussen won it. Da Costa was third, but quite far behind. Magnussen destroyed him. He got 274 points, and Da Costa got 172.
Jesus Christ.
So he was. I think that's why they would like. Well, it's okay, but not brilliant. And he got beaten by Stoffel Van Dorn as well.
And Fines, where was Fines? Because Stoffel Van Dorn would have been like.
Actually, I'm not seeing Fines as a junior. He's not listed here.
Okay, well then
he was a reserve for Caterham.
For Renault. He was a Renault driver.
Yeah, he.
Because Caterham had Renault as an engine.
I'm not seeing him. No, he was never in the Rebel Junior team. So, the only other one was Callan O'Keefe, but he was too young. Tom Blomqvist, again, too young. Beitskevitz is a woman, so they're not going to put her in it. Alex Lynn hasn't joined yet. Yeah, it was going to be Kvyat.
Yeah,
because I was actually thinking, how have we moved things so far? And basically, what we've done is we have replaced Vettel with Buemi, and we're kind of keeping him along.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's relatively little change. So 2014, the Renault, I guess it's still although no, they got rid of Maldonado. Went from Williams to Lotus, didn't he?
This is where the whole Maldonado to Ferrari comes in. Before in 2014, he was second to Raikkonen, and Raikkonen
obviously Massa went. Yeah. Alonso's still there, tearing his hair out. Massa's still going to Williams, I guess.
Yeah.
In place of he's going in place of Maldonado, isn't he? They're putting
Maldonado was second choice to Raikkonen when they tried to sign Raikkonen, and Raikkonen's at Red Bull. So surely they go for Maldonado.
But also Checo was a Ferrari junior, so I think Checo would have also been considered by Ferrari.
No,
when
not
he
not
leaves
not
McLaren.
not anymore because he did that year with McLaren. That was a train wreck.
Yeah, I know, but he will have the links. So
Yeah, but
betrayal.
Not he's not contractually bound to them anymore because he left them for McLaren. So I think that was him cutting ties because he thought McLaren was going to be his big break, and then it was shit.
Bro thinks he's Fernando Alonso.
Yeah. So with that in mind, is it Alonso Maldonado?
Yes.
And then Renault is still.
Wait! Hold your horses. There was Bianchi as an option. I don't think they go for Maldonado.
I do. I think
Bianchi after only 1 year in the Marussia.
Only
one. No,
1 year.
13 was his first year. I mean, yeah, he shat all over the ones at the back, but it was Chilton, Vandergaard, and Peak.
He might have gone to. I don't know. He wouldn't have gone to. He could have gone to Force India actually.
He was going to go to
Force India.
He was on loan to them, but again, it's because it's so far gone from Ferrari. But then also Force India, like Perez and Hülkenberg was already there. But Perez,
Mercedes engines, never mind. It would have been Force India.
Yeah, and Satil was gone. No, Satil was at Sauber.
Yeah,
with Gutierrez. Oh, now it's confusing because everyone's moving around all the time.
So, do you think Grosjean and Buemi had just stayed on because just to keep some order and?
I think they would have hoped the car was still half decent as well because it's a new era. Yeah.
Vbu.
Grobu. These are some like mass bot gut sut butt mag. These are some very good. Biachi.
Yeah. We still haven't. We need to get Grosjean and Perez on the same team at some point.
We can think about that as it comes. I'll change that to just Sauber because it's.
So we are agreeing to put Pastor Maldonado in that 2014 Ferrari that could not handle. How many red flags are we getting?
Well,
yeah. How many chassis are they going through?
Well, the thing is, I don't know why people act like. He was an aggressive driver, but he wasn't as aggressive as people say he was. He would have probably binned it a few times, but I don't think he'd have been as bad as people say because he was mature.
But if Alonso could barely control that car, so Maldonado's not going to do any better, I think.
I really think the big Ferrari shareholders and the big everything, the Tifosi and all, would be fine with Maldonado going on there. Like,
also, they could
not
the South American market because of 2 Spanish-speaking drivers.
Not more than 1 season, I would say. If we
I think that I don't think it would have worked. I mean, is there a way we can orchestrate Hamilton not being champion? Maybe Maldonado continues to be magnetized to him and just keeps taking him out whenever he's lapped or something.
I don't think Maldonado in 2014 would have been as bad as Kimi. I'm just saying that.
Well, I mean, it's more that even if the pace is okay, he's just going to be crashing.
Over to Ciaron Smith for this comment by Nedzo.
But the thing is,
I do not think. Please, Kimi
didn't.
This so we can have Ciaron comment on Maldonado would have been better than Kimi in 2014.
Some of Kimi's worst races were in 2014, but by that point he stopped caring, and Alonso is just a resource vacuum as well. So there's not much he could do.
The thing is, by the time Maldonado got to 2014, he'd somewhat matured. He'd cut out some of the crashes, and he was still on the same pace in terms of his overall ability as 2012, his best season. Like, you look at 2012, he lost so many podiums and potential wins because of bad reliability. I think Maldonado at least gets a couple of podiums in 2014, who would they have replaced him with in 2015?
Bianchi, for sure. Bianchi does not die.
But yeah, we just need to orchestrate Bianchi not dying, and then they can.
Yeah, we always do that. Like in these videos, we've always kept Bianchi alive.
Yeah, well. It's not like Vettel. It's not having Vettel means that tractors don't exist anymore.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
No. Because what happens is that basically Vettel he founds the militant wing of Just Stop Oil, and then he starts sending swarms of killer bees to oil refineries and gluing himself to the circuit and everything. So maybe he turns up in Suzuka and he just runs onto the track, and then that Bianchi still crashes but avoids the tractor.
Or he becomes race director he becomes race director and he fully stops the race when it starts raining.
No.
And
We need
yeah,
to
the
keep
fact that-
Maldonado in Ferrari. Come on.
You can't
So-
keep Maldonado in that Ferrari. Like, it's not gonna. Alonso
So-
Alonso was gone. It's a complete.
Yeah, so moving to 2015.
Oh God! Now what? There's so many of them. Like, because now we need to look at the Ferrari juniors as well.
No,
Okay,
it's
I don't
just,
mind Bianchi and Maldonado, but
Bianchi, okay.
No. So I think for 2015 then, because
Let's play butterfly
do-
effect and say that Bianchi doesn't die.
okay.
That makes things much easier.
yes, but then they would probably not, completely remove both drivers unless we say, yeah, okay, Ferrari somehow 2014 was so shit that Alonso leaves, Maldonado's out, and they put Bianchi and probably an experienced driver, right? So they
The
spend
only
a
other
lot of
champion
money.
that really are available is Button, and is he going to go to Ferrari? No.
No, they
No,
spend a lot of money to get Nico Rosberg, who's getting tired of.
Nico Rosberg, the guy who's not even
no,
champion.
he's not. They're not going anywhere. He's not leaving Mercedes anytime soon. What about Chet? No, we sent
No,
them to Checo.
Kimi-
didn't
Maybe Kimi moves. Kimi moves by then because Kimi will have. Yeah, because Ferrari's
Nope.
like, no. Think about this, right? Ferrari's like, okay, we are doing shit. We need someone who knows the team and who's been successful with the team. And the only other guy who's available is Raikkonen, who probably will have been like, okay, this 2014 went shit, and Red Bull are prioritizing this young gun instead of me, which did happen in real life. And Raikkonen leaves, and I think that makes sense to have him next to Bianchi, because then also they will be like, oh yeah, we have this champion helping out our guy. So I think Raikkonen and Bianchi makes sense.
But does
And then we can
Raikkonen
go back to Red Bull
Now I'm
shenanigans.
getting. Okay, now I'm just like, I don't know who to fill out. It's just like every team is turned back to front.
So Ferrari put Raibia, I think.
This is disgusting. I think Maldonado stays.
where
Another person. I'd say do Ferrari first, and then we can.
I'm trying to think of the other consequences of Bianchi not dying, how that affect because that wouldn't have damaged who's not changing? Okay, Mercedes are the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Force India are the same.
They are the same.
Williams are the same. The others, Sauber did what's his face? Oh,
Nasser and Ericsson.
Nasser got promoted.
Nasser and yeah. So Alonso's gone, obviously, but we've kept Maldonado. Now he's joined by Bianchi.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Kimi Bianchi makes sense.
I think
Kimi.
Maldonado. I think Raikkonen does better than what Vettel did in that 2014 Red Bull, because the 2014 Ferrari was horrendous to handle, but the 2014 Red Bull wasn't.
No, but Ferrari would be like, we need a big name, and the only other one is Kimi, and they would just splash. They would splash the cash at Red Bull. They can't have Bianchi and a random driver. This is Ferrari we're talking about.
A guy who's won a race. Okay.
They need one good driver in that car.
I think Bianchi and Maldonado would be a good pairing because they're both kind of half diamonds in the rough.
Nedzo, you're saying Bianchi and Maldonado at Ferrari F1 team. That is a bit too much for my liking.
Why?
No,
that would never happen in real.
Bianchi is obvious because that almost happened in real life. But like Raikkonen, the thing is that he would have been better than Vettel, yes, but he might well have been beaten by Ricciardo in the Red Bull, and he thought, okay, the car shit. He may not have necessarily realised that Ferrari's going to have a much better car next year because their car was much worse.
I'm just saying, Kimi did like his money. Ferrari's gonna not have Alonso and Massa's money to spend, and they would have likely made a lot of money from Venezuelan state oil, whatever. So they have a lot of money to throw at Kimi, who we do know loves money, and he has been with the team before. So for me, it's obvious that at that point they would have gone for Kimi.
If Kimi had had a superb 2014, then maybe. But I don't think they just get someone.
Precisely because it would not be superb. They just want someone there
that doesn't crash, or not very often.
Yeah, they need guys. You can't have a random rookie next to Bianchi at Ferrari. Like
a random rookie.
They won the championship 3 years earlier in our time.
Did you call Maldonado a random rookie, by the way?
No. I meant like if we're kicking out Maldonado, the options would
Oh, as
probably
a
be not that great, you know. So anyway, put Bianchi for now, and my choice is Raikkonen. You guys can see, who you would see more in that seat.
I think Maldonado, as I said, does better than Raikkonen in that 2014 Ferrari, and at least has a couple of like standout results. And I think that because I don't remember 2014 being a particularly crash-prone year for him. I think he went off in where was it? Belgium practice one, but that's all I remember.
I mean, his downturn was huge in 14 and 15. I think there was a collision with Grosjean at one point.
That was in Silverstone 2015. Towards the end of 2015, he was pretty much best of the rest. I don't know where you got his downturn from.
He was crashing a lot, like even by his own standards. He crashed. He went one better than Hamilton and hit the pit exit wall in China.
Guys, again, we cannot be arguing for Bianchi Maldonado at Ferrari 2050.
I think we are. This is an F1 video about Vettel video. It's supposed to be about Red Bull mainly, and now
I'm saying we move Raikkonen out, and then Red Bull becomes
Scuderia Ferrari PDVSA. It's right.
Otherwise, Red Bull becomes. Thank you. Also put Raikkonen first.
I will remember
Rybia.
Yeah.
Rabies.
Rabies.
Team
Rabies. Yeah. Okay, so Red Bull has Ricciardo, and now it makes sense again.
Right, do they do a straight swap?
Yeah, because now Leclerc there.
No, Maldonado would not go to Red Bull.
Yeah, Maldonado is not going to Red Bull. So.
Well, isn't this
now? This is the same because they still would have done Kvyat and Verstappen for Verne. No, not Verne. Not Verne. Sainz and Verstappen. Sives. Or Vesai. But then Renault is what is Maldonado going to Renault? But then if we do that, we have the grid is exactly the same except for Bianchi. As real life, the only difference is. Yeah.
See, it wouldn't have been the same if you'd have kept Maldonado and Ferrari.
No, but then it actually makes our video be a normal no Vettel video as opposed to when we had no Hamilton and Kobayashi had 10 seasons. This makes it more realistic, and we don't have to fill it.
But then the thing is that no. Let's think about it. Are they really going to drop Buemi or Grosjean for Maldonado?
I think we should have kept Raikkonen at Red Bull in the first place and just
because if you have only a single season at Ferrari, that's usually not a good sign. I think Maldonado's just done.
No, the video can end at 2015 because that's realistic as well. We don't have to go until 25.
Because if we had the thing is but then we have to. Bianchi becomes the title contender in place of Vettel.
I mean then it's faster. Then it's basically faster, but it doesn't become a 3-hour video like it did for the no Lewis and Verstappen. Which is fine. That's the thing.
I think we should have kept Raikkonen at Red Bull to make things a bit more interesting.
Because that car was even worse, the 15 car. But if he goes there,
he's not got telekinesis. He doesn't know it's going to be worse.
No,
I think at that point maybe Buemi is like, I have had many good cars in my career, and it's fine. So he starts somehow Toyota still contact him in LMP1 to start working towards the switch, and Maldonado does go to Renault because it would be weird to just drop out of the sport after Ferrari. Someone wants him, so
Gromal. Yeah. There we go. So
and
now
Virgin.
So
who did we put last time?
I got okay. So the thing that because the team only just came back. I don't know if they would have kept Chilton because he wasn't that good. Because they had in real life it was Stevens and Merry, but they were just desperate for whatever they could get.
Yeah. Well, we already. I think we can just put those two.
Yeah. Steamer. Now it is like the same, more or less.
I told you this. We should have kept Raikkonen at Red Bull.
Well, okay. Well, no. Well, now we can focus in on Ferrari because that's the only difference is that Bianchi's there instead of Seb. So 2016 is not much to say other than they can't win anything, and it's not that different. But I guess the dynamic between Raikkonen and Bianchi is would would Bianchi have kind of built the team around him and made Raikkonen the number 2, or would it have been the other way around? And then Raikkonen's the lead driver.
2015 Kimi Raikkonen, I don't think would. I think the problem is I don't rate Bianchi that highly anyway. But I think Raikkonen would have been better. I just think it's just a really average lineup because 2015 Kimi Raikkonen was nothing special and Bianchi was nothing special. So, yeah. That 2015 Ferrari doesn't get shown up to be the kind of second place car it did in real life. I think they could even lose out to the likes of Williams and Red Bull.
I mean, they didn't really have many juniors at the time, other than fucking Lance Stroll for Ferrari, or Antonio Fuoco. This is before Leclerc came in.
I just don't. I think that. Well, I've done my own video on this, but yeah, for me, Bianchi wasn't that special, and I don't think he would have done anything special in that Ferrari. I would.
Nico Hülkenberg could have been in the frame now because he was obviously really good, but he only didn't get a seat because they had Raikkonen and then they got Vettel. And Merck had considered Hülkenberg. Yeah, because Hülkenberg was doing
Hülkenberg at Ferrari,
Well,
Instead
he
of
would have been
Aston
really
Martin.
good. He would have been really good at that point.
I absolutely agree. He was very good at that point, but I don't see Hülkenberg going to Ferrari because he's never had any. Well,
But Maldonado could go to Ferrari, Nedzo.
Yes, because there were actual real life links to that, whereas Hülkenberg never had a real life link to Ferrari.
They didn't because Merck was all over it.
They weren't going to give up Hamilton Rosberg at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they brought
But
Bottas in
was
front
the
of
option
their line.
until Lewis became free. So
this is just incredibly crap. I told you we should have put Maldonado in that Ferrari.
It's just that
right. Let's do a second.
He's not staying there for another 10 years. They would just get rid of him soon after.
We could do an alternate timeline of this alternate timeline and just let's go with Ned's suggestion.
They keep Maldonado.
Raikkonen at Red Bull, Maldonado at Ferrari.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's Biamal and then Raikkonen with Ricciardo.
Yes, Raikkonen and Ricciardo.
Yeah.
I think
Okay, so with that in mind, what happens with Verstappen?
Then what happens? Yeah.
Because
I think it'd be Verstappen and Kvyat. I don't think they promote Sainz, but I think they would promote Verstappen. I think they give Sainz another year in whatever series he was doing, and then see how he went.
He won Formula Renault 3.5. So the only other thing he could do was GP2, basically.
Okay, surely I don't because they guaranteed Verstappen a seat. That's why he signed for.
I'm trying to feel like what the circumstances around Verstappen because that was such a huge gamble at the time, and maybe
unless they refuse Verstappen a seat and go with Sainz and Kvyat, and then he goes to Mercedes and goes to Manor.
We could do that, I guess.
Verstappen. The thing is that seems kind of realistic on the basis that he was only in his first year in single seaters, and it was good, but still, it's like he's a kid.
So Sainz and Kvyat, this is far better than what we had before.
So now it's
with Verstappen, they did that because they had Vettel in the past, who it had worked with.
Was there drivers? Yeah.
So I think that you have Verstappen and Stevens.
Yes, Vesta. Or
Frederick Vesti before Frederick Vesti.
No, Steves.
Yeah. We are going with a more interesting timeline, sure, but as we move into 2016, I just want to say we have Bianchi and Maldonado at Ferrari. Sure.
What is actually quite a good Ferrari as well. That's the
I'm just saying Maldonado wins more races than Bianchi does.
Assuming they win any races at all.
I think like for example, how many they won Malaysia, they won whichever races did win in 2015.
It was Malaysia. It was Malaysia, Hungary, and Singapore. So Malaysia, there was that safety car, and they played the strategy right. Hungary, everyone was back to front because Bianchi was dead, and that threw them all off, and they were all driving like shit. But in this case, Bianchi is not dead; he's very much alive. I think that's still an easy Mercedes win.
I think Singapore that was a dodgy man. I think the dodgy man still walks out onto the track. Maldonado is a fantastic driver at Singapore, and he wins. There you go.
Singapore, Singapore. Vettel is the lion of Singapore, and Lewis had some mechanical failures there. Is why that one happened.
But also Maldonado was a fantastic driver at Singapore. Qualified on the front row in 2012 and was running in the top 3 when he had a hydraulic failure. So Maldonado wins a race and stays on for 2016.
But Bianchi.
Surely,
I mean,
at some point
they have to get rid of him eventually because the crashes are just going to keep coming. There's going to be some collisions with the Mercs.
What with Maldonado and the Mercs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there will be, like,
Hamilton,
public outcry.
Rosberg would have been clever enough to back off, but Lewis wouldn't have.
Yeah, so basically Rosberg wins three titles in a row
Because
because
of
because of
Rosberg
Maldonado.
wins 2015. Oh, all of the comments.
I mean, okay, 2014, a couple of accidents here and there it could have, but 2015 was no contest. Like Hamilton was miles ahead.
Yeah, he was. That was Lewis's best season, 2015.
So 16, Alonso's not going to go back. What? No. If they want to throw Maldonado out or Bianchi, they could have maybe brought Alonso back to Ferrari.
Maybe in 2017, but he's not going back after 2 seasons.
Yeah, he's not going back to a car that's not like there's no reason to go back. He's not going to go back.
I've got an idea. 2017, it's Raikkonen and Alonso to Ferrari.
Why?
But because both their cars suck, and so they want something better. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, they're not going to go because 2016 Ferrari wasn't that good either, and they're not
Ferrari
going to.
It wasn't bad.
But Ferrari would have to pay the GDP of America to get Raikkonen and Alonso in the same team.
They
in
bankrupt
2017.
Italy trying to pay their salaries. I think. Yeah. So I'll fill in some of the ones anyway for 16.
Yeah. Nedzo and Ericsson.
It was still them, wasn't it?
Newey, Adrian Newey racing.
Yeah, Adrian Newey just joined Sauber. Was he involved? No, he was never with Sauber. No.
Also,
No,
we
he
need to get rid of Maldonado at Renault. Or
oh god. Oh yeah. So Grosjean's staying, so it's still Grobu. Although by this point, I think they're both losing the will to live. Although now we have the new team Haas coming into play, so we can factor that in somehow.
Yeah.
Mazbot, Hamros, Perhol, Steves. Is that they're not keeping Will Stevens on? Verstappen. Okay, now we've had a year of Verstappen at that. I mean, that car is horrifically bad. But
do
then
they put him at Force India? Maybe do they try and kick out Perez or Hulkenberg because of the Mercedes power units?
Everyone's doing quite well at the moment because, like Williams, they're both Mass and Bottas are good. Like
you could argue maybe Massa retires a year early because in 2015 he was decent, but he wasn't like overly fantastic.
Didn't they get a pole or was that 14? No, it was 14.
Maybe Massa just retires like a couple of years early and they get Verstappen in a long time.
I don't know. I think as good. I think there would have been talks of getting him in something because he would have been obviously amazing in that absolutely awful car.
Yeah.
Maybe Renault. I don't know. It's a complete departure, but it's not a Mercedes.
They want a Mercedes power unit. They'd either want Force India or Williams, surely.
Yeah. But there's no room at the inn.
Or maybe it's something like they go to Sauber and say, put Mercedes engines in your car and we go Nasser and Verstappen. Because Sauber went to year-old Ferrari engines, so maybe they could have said, oh, we don't want year-old Ferraris, we want Mercedes. And then they can say, to Mercedes, oh, we'll take Verstappen on, and then we'll have Sauber Mercedes and we can have Nasser and Verstappen.
Maybe that's what it is. When the whole Longbow finance stuff that began in 16, that wasn't really a factor in 15 with Ericsson.
Yeah. And that'd also be because Ericsson's money could easily be replaced with Mercedes money.
Who was better? I think NASA did beat Ericsson quite bad.
Oh, NASA was infinitely better because there was some level of sabotage in 2015, but he was still miles better.
Yeah. So is that Nazvez?
Nazvez.
Nazvez.
We could go Vesnas, and it's like a
Vesnas. No, Verstappen would be number one. I think.
Vesnaz. Yeah. So what happened? It's Torosso in 16 is still Kvyat. Ryrik is the same. Red Bull are not moving.
Yeah.
So Raikkonen's think for another year. Yeah.
I guess they're not. That's not changing. Or Torosso.
I think if there's any other juniors. Brendan Hartley's not back in the picture yet.
Alex Lynn left at the end of 2014. Because they'd signed Verstappen.
Was this the year Gasly won the GP2 championship?
When we did the Verstappen video, Gasly was the one who we promoted early.
Gasly finished 8th in GP2 in 2015. That was his first year doing it.
Okay, so maybe not just yet.
Not in place of those two. Because it's still third season. I mean, 3 seasons is kind of the limit, unless your name is Yuki Tsunoda. for the.
Okay,
The
let's
beat.
fill out the rest of these seats then. So where we go? So Renault does actually become Renault. Do you think Grosjean and Buemi stay on? Well, do you think Grosjean goes to Haas still?
I think so, yeah, because that car was shit, the 15 Renault. So apart from that one podium he got, he probably tries it out with Haas.
Yeah. Do you think we get someone other than Gutierrez because that's a bit stinky?
Because he was a Ferrari test driver in 2015.
Yes.
And the connection was because the Ferrari engines. Manor was. That's not going to change Fairline and the other one, Haryanto.
Yeah. I think Verline's career might change quite drastically considering who we have on this panel.
They are.
We already did last time, so
Renault.
Last time we had Verlaine at Red Bull.
Okay.
Yeah. Is Ferrari still Diamal, or if we?
I think it is because who's going to replace them?
They are not keeping Bianchi Maldonado for 2 seasons.
Well, who's going to replace them?
I'm just trying to think 15. The car because the car's better.
No, but they would know. Like they would know that Tifosi would know those aren't. They need one good driver.
Okay,
right?
Bianchi would. I think Bianchi would be absolutely adored by the Tifosi.
But the thing is, I also don't think Bianchi would have done very well. Like Bianchi wasn't that special. I think Maldonado outperforms him in both seasons.
Yeah, but he also cost them a lot of money offsets the money he's bringing in from PDVSA.
2015, he had a couple of mistakes where he went off and did daft stuff in practice and stuff, but he very rarely actually properly crashed and totaled the car.
When did that dictate Hugo Chavez? When did he die?
I don't know.
When he's dead, he loses all of that. But I think it was after this.
Yeah, I think Maldonado stays, and I don't think Bianchi necessarily gets dumped. But I don't think that because I think they might stick with him, but he really wasn't that special. He really wasn't.
They keep Maldonado over Bianchi at Ferrari. Now it's not even chaos. It's like it's just Nedzo's wet dream, guys.
No, but the thing is, they might go, yes, he's a starlet and all that, but then they realise he's actually not that special.
What they're doing is basically just resurrecting the 1990s at this point. Like, let's just be suck for 5 years and then we'll bring in a superstar eventually.
I mean, maybe, but like, it's just like very with Bianchi's career, even in the small time he had, he just never did. Like people talk about Monaco like it was good when all he did was be a terrorist.
Okay, does Alonso try and come back after seeing how the 15
not
Ferrari?
for 16? Not for 16. I was going to say 17.
Button might go over because he's a champion.
I was going to say one of Button and Alonso, but Button also was already 20. He has famously said he did 2016 for the money, like he wanted to leave anyway. So I don't think he would go to Ferrari.
I don't think he's suddenly going to resurrect his career at the age of 36.
Or he might do a Hamilton. Like, I'm going there for one last hurrah, and it's Ferrari, and it's ticking a box
just to cash out.
Actually, maybe if we're doing something that doesn't make sense, yes, put Button at Ferrari, and then at Alonso at McLaren, you can have either Magnussen or Van Dorn.
Van Dorn would be better.
16 was Van Dorn. Was he not doing anything, or was it the year before that?
Just
yeah, that's an obvious one. Okay, so it's Alonso and Van Dorn, and then Button
and Maldonado. I think Bianchi does so shit in 2015. They just get rid of him.
He was not that shit.
He was. No. I'm sorry. All he did in his entire F1 career was be a terrorist in Monaco, and people acted like it was good when it wasn't.
There's not like. Yeah, okay, that was a bad race, but like, I feel like just in terms of optics, they're not going to drop Bianchi over Maldonado.
Yeah, because Ferrari, if they had Button Maldonado, the Tifosi would be like, "This is woke nonsense."
Yeah, like it just wouldn't.
Where does Maldonado go then? Back to Renault.
Yes.
Yeah, why not? And he's with.
Yeah. Or he could go to Haas, or he could go to Haas because it's a new project, and he can say, "I can try and make them into a world championship."
Oh, yeah, and the Ferrari connection, the engines, and Dolores. Yeah. Okay, so
need the money. They actually need the money.
But beer. So now that's Gromal. We've got Gromal at Haas.
This is so cursed.
Nothing says all American team like Latin American oil.
And French people.
Yeah.
To be fair, if we hadn't put him, we're not going to do it now because there's no way I'm taking Maldonado off the grid. But we could have said Alex Rossi because of his cameo of Mana.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good cameo. That was the problem.
It was just average.
Yeah. So Renault is.
Do you think Buemi stays on again just because there's no one else better?
At this point, I feel like Buemi has lost the will to live, probably. Like, he almost had it with Red Bull, and then they throw him in.
Magnussen's already been fucked off by McLaren for the McLaren seat, so he can go there. So just Mag.
Yeah, Mag.
Do we get Jolyon? Please don't say Jolyon Palmer, because that's just boring. It's the same as real life.
I think they keep...
Palmer did...
I'd say you do Buemi, and because now Renault is actually Renault is like, okay,
Ocon.
we need...
Ocon was a Mercedes. Ocon was a Mercedes driver at the time. He was in.
Because in 2016 it's formally Renault again. They want a French-speaking driver to be their flagship driver.
That's why I said Ocon.
No, but Ocon would have been 18. They can't take an 18-year-old flagship.
And again, he's a Mercedes factory driver.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can't have Gasly because he's too young as well. French
they would just have
Verne has come back for a bit of a cameo.
Yeah, but Buemi would have been at Red Bull for 2 years. Everyone would know him, so he would be a good face for the new revival of Renault. You know.
Okay, he's just saying Buemi stays on because Peter said he was going to.
Yeah.
With Mag, is Grosjean still going to Hassel? Does he want to stay? Because actually in real life he didn't stay when it became that. Yeah, and Verne, because Verne was a test driver for Ferrari in 2015.
I'd say switch Buemi just to show he's number one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, 2017.
By the way.
Who wins the title? So Rosberg. Yeah.
17. Yeah. 17.
Wait,
okay, so now...
wait. We're saying Hamilton wins.
No, 16.
16.
Who wins in 16?
Really?
Well, sorry. Brain fart. Rosberg.
Della Rosa.
Okay, so now we've moved up.
Can I just say one? What I don't know. I'll wait for them to be mentioned before I say something.
17.
But also, so I missed this. Why do we have Hartley at Mana in 16?
That's Haryanto.
Oh, good.
Bro, forgot Haryanto existed.
Does Ocon come midway through then?
There's nothing saying no. And then but then does he actually come anywhere near defeating Sauber? If Verstappen's in that awful car, it's probably still
the thing, yeah.
Because in this timeline, Verstappen has nothing to do with Red Bull. So 17.
Well, Sauber had Ferrari engine, so I think the link would be to Ferrari eventually.
Yeah. Oh God, maybe they just not right. Okay.
Or do we say Verstappen has been so insane at Sauber that Bianchi
retires from Mercedes and then Verstappen goes straight there? Hamilton Verstappen is a driver lineup in 2017.
It's more interesting. I was going to say Button cashes out and then Verstappen just goes to Ferrari, but
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Well, because we talked about Mercedes, Sauber becoming a Mercedes team rather than the Ferrari team.
Because if you're thinking this timeline, Verstappen is a Mercedes guy because he can. Bottas has been around longer, and that's thrown off by Massa.
Bottas isn't a Mercedes junior. He's just kind of
he's just a guy.
Yeah.
But Rosberg
this is exactly what happened in real life. They had a junior who did fine in their line, and they had Bottas. So we need to think how good.
Verstappen's got a season more experience, and be honest, I know. So how was more meteoric than their line?
No, I agree. So what I'm saying is, how much better do we think Verstappen would be rated at that point for them to go for Verstappen instead of Bottas?
I think they would.
I feel like contractually it would have been difficult though because he would have been locked in with Ferrari Verstappen.
Why?
Because he's is he a Mercedes? No, he's Mercedes.
No, he's Mercedes, so we can do this.
If we assume he's on loan to Sauber, then I guess we can.
Yeah, because we talked about how instead of having year-old Ferrari engines, they have Mercedes ones instead. So there's no link to Ferrari whatsoever.
Oh, okay. Now this is making fine. Hamilton Verstappen.
And now it's VAR because it's fine. That's when they finally switched from VAS to VAR.
Hamber. because I don't think Vern is making his heroic his redemption arc.
But keep
anytime
VES
soon.
because on the other ones we kept VES. So.
Yeah, I think because it's still Hamvez or Vesham, which
But
sounds.
I will
sounds
say,
like
if we do this, we make Lewis be on the other side of the story this time, and Verstappen beats him to the title like 2007.
So we're just bullying Lewis anyway. It's great.
Yeah. What the other? So
Alonso
McLaren's that's not going to change. Has Button cashed out and gone, or is he still?
No,
I
I
think
think
he
Button
stays.
cashes. I think Button cashes out, and Alonso goes to Ferrari because Alonso is like, "What the fuck is
Yes.
going on?"
Oh, that would be amazing, actually, to have Hamilton, Verstappen, Alonso.
I don't know if
Can't
Bianchi.
spell.
I don't know if Bianchi would be good enough to stay for a third season. I don't think he would.
He wouldn't
No,
be
but they
bad.
would keep him. They would just keep him though.
Um,
And then I think after 27, because in 2016 he would have performed well against Button because Button would have clocked out. So you can see the media being like, "Oh, is Bianchi the next big thing?" And then I agree with you. 2017 Alonso fully smashes Bianchi, and then we can get rid of him. As you
I
Okay,
think.
What's
So does that
happening
mean?
with McLaren then?
My first thought was Hülkenberg goes to McLaren.
Wait, so 2017 you still have Alonso there. So who do we put?
Yeah.
Magnus?
No. I thought Alonso went in 2017 to McLaren, to Ferrari.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. We need to think of a thing to go alongside Van Dorn.
Van Dorn. I
Well,
was
Van
going to say.
Dorn,
He's already at Renault.
I was going to say Hülkenberg.
Hulkenberg is a good option. Perez is also a good option. Actually, no, not
Mercedes
Perez.
engine.
Perez has already had one shit year with them, so he's not going to do it.
Massa, mate. No, Massa's already retired.
Massa's retiring, and then
Bottas
Rosberg
could be a good
fucks that
option.
up. Sorry,
Bottas could be another good option.
Bottas to
Yeah, actually Bottas, yeah.
Or
Bottas is
Verline.
really good
Or
at
Verline.
Oh yeah, Verline would have been still
Van
Mercedes
Ver.
driver.
Yeah, they would have been like, well, it's better than nothing. Although 2017 they were with they were Honda, they weren't Mercedes anymore.
But again, Hulkenberg isn't exactly a Honda driver, is he? So.
Oh yeah, I forgot they're
And
not.
they
I
wouldn't-
forgot that. Yeah, but then no one's Honda at this point except Red Bull.
But they wouldn't have
That's
gone
okay,
for like
he's
Nobu-
playing.
they wouldn't have gone for like Nobuharu Matsushita, so no.
No. Sauber. Okay,
I think
no...
Mazda stays on because he was actually really good, and there's no Longbow finance either, so he doesn't get shagged.
Yeah, so it's Verstappen's gone. So Nasser's at Sauber. They're not. I don't think they're going to put Leclerc up a year early. And also, there's no.
How
Is there
good
no?
was
Oh no, this is
how
a
good was Williams
Mercedes.
in 2016? How good was Williams in 2016 again?
Just like third, fourth fastest. Not really any different from 15 or 14, 15.
Who are the other Mercedes juniors at this time?
Ocon.
Literally
then
no one. It was
Ocon,
just
who's Ocon in?
Caroline.
Because he had a
Ocon.
good stint. He had a good stint with Manor. Nazar and Ocon.
Who?
Ocon.
Yeah, but he went to Force India in real life,
Oh,
and they were obviously better than Sauber.
okay, then fair enough. Right, who do we put in there instead then? It doesn't.
My
necessarily
only
have to
issue
be
here
Mercedes
is
now.
Okay,
would Bottas not have gone to McLaren instead of airline?
Maybe.
That's why I'm asking how good was Williams in 2016?
Oh, they would have been all over that having a Finnish driver at McLaren.
Exactly,
again.
that's what I'm saying. And I'm
Yeah,
saying this
yeah,
as a
it's Van
Okay.
Bot.
But put Bot first. Let's say put Bot first, yeah. And
Bot Van.
airline, where
Um,
can we keep him?
So
Oh no, but
now
put airline at Sauber now.
Yeah, get rid of Ericsson. He's stinky.
Nasver.
That's
Nasve.
two underrated drivers in a driver lineup.
Then Renault, were they still doing that? Because in 17, at the end of the year, Sainz went over to them, and there's no Jolly and Palmer in this timeline.
No.
Grosjean.
Hulkenberg went. This. I said we do all the other teams first, then come back to Renault because they had a complete switch.
Yeah, we're kind of forgetting about Red Bull a lot in this. Also, so Force India is still Perez. Oh no, Perez Ocon. Where's Hulkenberg? Is he still going to?
This is where one of my theories comes in. Raikkonen has 3 shit seasons with Red Bull and just cans it and says I don't want to race anymore. And it's new regulations, so it opens up a seat at Red Bull.
Or either Kvyat or Sainz.
So yeah, either that one of them, or you could move in. I mean, that'd be a good option as well. But you could move in a driver from outside, someone like a Hulkenberg. But maybe Kvyat and Sainz is a better option.
I feel like they would have wanted to, because at that point they've been there for forever.
The thing is, annoying. I think they'd have both been pretty equal to each other. Kvyat and Sainz.
well, the thing is, in real life, Sainz kind of shat all over Kvyat in 2016.
Oh yeah, they were
And-
teammates, weren't they? Yeah, I forgot
and
about that.
17. So yeah, Sainz was obviously better. So I think it's Ricardo Sainz. And then Toro Rosso, Gasly, he doesn't get exiled to Japan.
Yeah.
Kiev Gaz. Williams was
Does Massa stay on for another year, or do we kick him to the
because
side?
the thing is they did that because they had no one else left, because it was like, well, we're bringing Stroll in, but with Bottas gone, we need someone else, and they didn't really have anyone else unless Williams Driver Academy. Let's find out.
I don't think they did have anyone, to be frankly honest.
I mean, their Driver Academy is tepid. It's Lance Stroll. Okay, looking at this timeline, I think basically the Williams Driver Academy was built for Lance Stroll because
Okay.
he's the first person to join. Yeah, it was built for him.
Right, maybe we have a look at Haas now, because we can't. We can put what's his name in there. We can put Stroll in there, but we can't put anyone else just yet. Do you think Maldonado stays on for a second season at Haas?
Probably. I mean, the car's okay.
Because I'm thinking we could fill that Williams slot with Maldonado.
I feel like in this timeline, Magnussen has to, because he had a relatively good 2014, and then he's just put out for the rest. I feel like he has to make a comeback somewhere.
Maybe you replace Grosjean with Magnussen.
Oh no, wait, we put him in. He's already at Renault, isn't he? I forgot. We've already got him there. Maybe he just stays at Renault.
Yeah,
Magnussen.
So
Buemi, is he really facing a 5th consecutive year with this?
Does he can it after these regulations, or for these regulations?
Because the 2016 Renault was not a good car.
I mean, my idea for Buemi is that he is the flagship driver, so he just stays as this, new kind
midfielder,
of
Hulkenberg.
Olivier Panis for Prost figure,
Yeah. Sorry, maybe it's just the same.
Keep Buemi and then
But
put a new driver next. Oh, Magnussen, yeah.
Then Williams. So we know Stroll. Maybe it's just Stroll and they convince Massa for another year.
Maybe
Master.
That's not great, but
that's happening in real life, to be honest. So
it's great, but it's not. But it's better than now. Yeah.
And then I guess Grosjean, Maldonado would probably stay. They know a thing or two about train wreck sponsorship.
I think we can make Haas the Maldonado team because they would love his sponsorship.
Yeah. They could avoid rich energy.
Who is the 2017 champion? Are we saying Hamilton again?
Yeah, no, Verstappen's gonna.
Oh yeah, actually going to do this.
That being said, this Verstappen was still a very.
And 2017 was one of Lewis's better seasons, so I think Hamilton.
Well, yeah, but the first half was kind of crappy.
I just want the timeline where Hamilton gets done by a rookie after he had done Alonso. Not because it was Alonso. It just would be really funny if that happened.
Speaking of, does he do what Vettel did and bottle it?
In 2018, yes, but not in
2018. Not in 17. That wasn't 17. It was mechanical stuff, really, that did that.
We can keep Lewis, and I'm not saying it as a hate. I'm just saying it would be funny if we had Max. But I fully agree that Max wasn't.
It'd also be funny if we had Alonso.
Yeah, but Max wasn't really mature enough at that point, and it's Hamilton's team, and he's been there for a long time. So
yeah, because I'm already seeing the hater comments coming for Nedzo, so I don't want to be jumped.
I don't want to be grouped in with this.
Okay, so 18.
18, you start with the champion and you put Alonso.
No.
Are we so now? It's
Bianchi
still
gets dropped.
Bianchi gets dropped.
Yes.
Okay.
Who? Ferrari Juniors. Leclerc. Does he just go straight up to Ferrari?
No.
That would be a huge gamble.
They could have done it. They could have done it. Oh no, they had Raikkonen. That's why they didn't do it. I don't think they don't do it because they don't see Red Bull and Mercedes do it with other drivers. So they're also. Has
Raikkonen retired now?
I think we can say so. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He's retired. He's gone.
Yeah.
Leclerc, the other Ferrari juniors like Fuoco.
Unless Raikkonen comes back and we have Alonso.
I've got a better idea. I hate to say it, Ricardo.
No, because he's just become the The lead? No, he's the lead
Yeah.
guy at Red Bull. Why would he?
And the
leave?
17 car, it's unreliable, but otherwise it's fairly good.
Okay.
There's no
Um,
Verstappen. But
Okay, so
Verstappen is why he left.
Leclerc was a junior at that time. Fuoco, Zhou Guanyu, Giuliano Alesi,
Maybe they
Petikov.
promote one of the. They promote Nasser, maybe Brazilian money, Santander, and all.
But it's a Mercedes team again. It's got it for in the. I don't
No,
think
but
Ferrari.
NASA had no Mercedes.
I think Ferrari has a Ferrari's only customer team in this timeline.
Yeah.
No, but Sauber. No, Sauber had Ferrari at that point.
No,
No,
but
but
in
we
this
changed
timeline
it
they
to
have Mercedes.
We changed them to Mercedes, and also they have no. I would say Nazar didn't actually have those connections himself. He was never a Mercedes driver, so I think Nazar to Ferrari isn't exactly bad.
He's just a guy that's there. He's
No, but
like
Nazar was an underrated driver. I think that he could have proven himself at Sauber to go straight.
Guys, there's something I just realized. In 2017, Hülkenberg isn't there.
Oh shit, he isn't.
Oh. Well,
Right,
because
replace
I wanted to put him at McLaren, but we couldn't.
Replace Massa at Williams with Hülkenberg. Replace Massa at Williams with Hülkenberg.
Oh yes, Holster.
Holster. You're gonna holster your gun, are you?
Yeah, Holster. That's our new team. So now he's a Williams merchant. So that's what's not changing. That's going to stay the same.
I think Force India should stay the same as well.
Force India will be the same. Haas will be the same. Gromal still.
Yeah. Holster.
Holster is the same. The car's useless now.
Rixai.
Oh, that's even better because then Hulkenberg has to watch Stroll get a podium before him as well. Rixai is that's happening. Bumag, I guess they'd carry on for 80. Again, the Renault Academy. I don't really know who was in it at the time. If they even cared. Who won the championship? 2017 GP2 championship.
Leclerc.
Oh, Leclerc. Okay, and
That's
then it
why
was
I said Ferrari, but you said no.
And then the runner-up was someone.
I didn't say Schwartzman. It wasn't Hubert. No, it wasn't Hubert. That was GP3.
No, it wasn't Hubert. Artem Markelov, I think.
Actually, Markelov did some tests for Renault.
No, Markelov didn't just do tests for Renault. He was a Renault driver.
So okay. Artem Markelov in place of.
He was a fully fledged Renault junior.
Is Buemi finally giving up after?
I think so. We can't do it
5 seasons.
Yeah,
Buemi has moved to hypercar because Buemi always wanted to do other stuff, so he moved.
So by this point he goes to that. Maybe in place of Hartley if he's still coming in at Toro Rosso. So that's Magnussen and Markelov.
Capitals.
Damn. Magmar.
Yeah.
Right. Toro Rosso.
Can we shoehorn Sorokin in to put 3 Russian drivers on the grid?
Okay. So Kvyat. Well, the thing is, Kvyat. They would have got rid of Kvyat. Gasly would have stayed at Toro Rosso. Would they have still brought probably still brought Hartley in?
Yeah, go on then.
Gazhar. So now it's just Ferrari. Because if we said we're dropping Bianchi.
Yes.
I feel like he would have found a seat somewhere.
No, I don't think he would.
No, of course he would. They wouldn't just
three seasons with Ferrari. You don't just get like.
Okay. Put him at Sauber then with. Actually, no, you can't because Nasser and Vettel have done a fantastic job.
Yeah, unless you move one of them up. But then because we're not moving. Like, it's too early for Leclerc.
You could just switch Nasser and Bianchi.
That would have been even Nasser Bianchi. Naz. And then it's B of A.
Yeah.
I was going to say it would be funny that Alonso has to go up against another rookie in 2018 and gets beaten by Leclerc or something.
No.
No, he would smash Leclerc with his politics.
Yeah. Okay. An 18. So what happens? Does Verstappen do it? Because that was his sort of turnaround year in real life.
No, 2018 we said Alonso.
At the start of the season, he was
Alonso doesn't spin, so Alonso's champion.
Yeah. In terms of lineups, I think we can confirm Hamilton and Verstappen together.
Yeah. Okay, so 19. I guess that doesn't change. There's going to be some serious tension between these three. I mean, Hamilton is like 4 years of Rosberg, and now Verstappen after. It's not easy for him. McLaren, Bottas, Van Dorn. Okay, I think. Well, Norris has to come in.
Yeah.
So
I Annoyingly, I don't think Van Dorn would have done as bad against Bottas because Alonso did just basically suck him dry at that team.
Okay, no, but the other thing about Bottas is that he's kind of useless. So I think they would have probably kept Van Dorn and Norris.
Okay, you want to do that? Okay,
why would Bottas be useless? But Bottas is probably the number one driver at that point.
Yeah, because he's totally devoid of racecraft and all of that. Like, he would qualify well.
But, he would be getting more points than Van Dorn. So, because Bottas 2017, 2018 was a good driver.
2018, he got no wins in a Mercedes. Just saying.
I mean, one of those was team orders. He was told not to win at the one circuit he's good at.
I think that, to be fair, I think it depends because, as I said, I don't think Van Dorn, because Van Dorn in 2018 was awful, but I think it was because he was being quote unquote sabotaged. It wasn't sabotage, but it was not helpful.
It was Alonso. It was the Alonso thing, and the thing is, Bottas is much nicer than Alonso, so that's probably they're probably both right.
I think Van Dorn would have been better.
Keep them. Maybe we keep them, and Norris has to wait a season because Norris hadn't.
Was he second or
Norris
third?
hadn't won.
He was second.
Norris hadn't won in
George.
2018. He finished second to George. Yeah, so
yeah.
They could put him in another team. Actually, there's no junior.
But there's no space, man. There's no space.
Yeah.
We have no space.
So 2019 was when Stroll bought Racing Point. Is Ocon just gone, or is he? Because he's still a Mercedes junior at this point. Or was in real life?
He's just staying there. Yeah, Perez Ocon is a really good line.
Maybe Ocon.
But what about Stroll? Because Lawrence Stroll had bought the team by this point.
I think you could do a driver switch between. Kubica doesn't need to come back.
Yeah.
Okay,
Kubica. Williams needs money somehow. So where do
they get Mercedes money? They get Mercedes money by taking a loan.
Mercedes money isn't that much.
Who are they taking?
Russell and
Ocon to Mercedes. God, it would have taken a lot of persuasion to get him to do that.
He was a Mercedes. It was managed by Toto Wolff.
Yeah.
So he could have gone to Williams.
No. Ocon, guys. Why are you arguing? Ocon goes to Renault next to Magnussen because Markelov wouldn't have been that good.
Oh yeah, Markelov would have sucked balls. So yeah.
Okay.
Magoko.
Okay, fair enough.
So then that's going to be
Perster.
Stripper.
That sounds like a slur against like really dodgy people.
Well, the other way is stripper, which could be like a Czech surname or something.
Or it'd be a profession.
Williams 19. So Hulkenberg stays and is drawn by Osama.
Walrus.
Yeah. Or Russell. Otherwise, Red Bull is still Ricardo Sainz, or is Ricardo? Yeah, I mean Ricardo's.
Maybe Sainz leaves because he wants to find a team where he can be number one driver, like Ricardo did.
It's only been 2 seasons though. Like I think.
Okay, fair enough.
Ricardo is not being destroyed by Max, so I think it just stays, and he's not got Jos Verstappen being really annoying. Lewis has got that instead.
Does Albon exist in this universe?
Okay, let's think. So Hartley is gone. Gasly's staying at Toro Rosso.
Yeah.
The other Red Bull juniors at the time were Jack Doohan, Dan Ticktum.
Yes, please.
Yuri Vips, so there's only a year in. Dennis Hauger was too early.
Dan Ticktum.
Ticktum is always the one that we kind of
in all the other timelines.
Albon was a last minute choice as well.
Yeah, because he'd already signed that deal with Nissan in Formula E. Gastick.
Put an R in there, you can get gastric bypass.
Gastric. So then it's and then Salva is still 2019.
I think they keep Bianchi Verline.
What about Giovinazzi? Because there's no Raikkonen to think about, but Giovinazzi still exists.
I just remembered, Giovinazzi could have been someone to consider in 2017 actually, or 2018.
Yeah. Because he would have been in Ferrari's sights.
Verlan and Giovinazzi.
Yeah, put Verlan Giovinazzi.
Yeah, Bianchi's just.
The only problem is with this is in this universe, Sauber's now Mercedes team. So would they have become Alfa Romeo still?
Yeah.
Okay, we just saying they would have done.
Maybe.
Or we can say they would have still changed the thing, but it would have not been to Alfa.
Yeah, they would have changed anyway.
Mercedes backed thing, like I don't know, smart, if you get what I mean.
Well, the thing is, the German. I was going to say, but Volkswagen own all the German manufacturers. I don't know, Maybach maybe or Daimler.
Maybach is not having a Formula One team.
No.
What does Mercedes own?
They have no subsidiaries at all. Or they would have just called it AMG or something.
Or they could have like taken over one of the GP2 teams.
Well,
Like
no,
ARC
well,
or
no, there
something.
was Sauber. It maybe just stays as Sauber because there was Sauber Mercedes back 30
Yes.
years earlier. It's just still Sauber. Yeah.
Yeah, so just get rid of the red painting.
Yeah.
We've nuked Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
They're bankrupt now.
No more arguments. And then Haas.
But then actually at the same time, does Gio still?
No, I don't think he does. That's a problem.
Does he still have his connections with them?
No, I don't think he does.
He was never a Red Bull. I don't remember if he was a Red Bull Junior formerly.
Well, if it's Sauber Mercedes, then you can consider putting. No, not really.
Kubica goes back to his old team.
No one else is really involved because again, they didn't really exist as much.
No,
Yeah,
it was
there
just
was-
Antonelli, I think.
Mercedes.
They had Verlan and Ocon, who are in the sport. We've also put Russell. So actually, in this timeline, Mercedes Academy is the best thing ever.
There's literally nobody else. Like at the time, it was just the two. Yeah, it was just those two.
Maybe you could argue that Ocon doesn't go to Renault because he's still in Mercedes and goes to Sauber instead. Just gets shuffled to another kind of size.
No. They would want a French driver if they could.
Yeah, it's a sideways move. It would. Yeah, let's just keep Giovinazzi. I don't know. Gromal still causing devastation at Haas.
What about Leclerc? Why are we not putting Leclerc in there?
Because it's Sauber Mercedes. It's not Ferrari.
Oh, Haas.
Ferrari are not.
Haas. I'm talking about Haas.
Oh,
Tyson
yeah, of course.
Grosjean.
We forgot about
Wait,
Leclerc.
did we not put
Tyson
Leclerc
Grosjean.
anywhere in 2018? Oh yeah, now it's Grosjean Leclerc then. Yeah.
Yeah, they finally get rid of Maldonado and
No, replace Grosjean.
they're getting rid. Yeah, he's cost them too much money. So
No.
But
Leclerc.
to be fair, like honestly, even in 2018, we could have had Grosjean Leclerc because it's really hard to imagine a world where Leclerc does not get instant promotion.
It has. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
Bro, no, you can't do
Brolek. He has to. His time is up. Like it's yeah.
Yeah, so
He's living on
2020
borrowed
Leclerc
time
gets
from-
promoted to Ferrari for sure.
A low Lec. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
2019, who wins? Hamilton for sure.
yeah, the
No. Verstappen is a better driver by now.
Oh, we haven't put him in. Yeah, it did because we put Alonso. Yeah. Verstappen has it.
Yeah, Verstappen was a better driver in 2019.
Has it in 19.
No, I think no. I think we give it to Hamilton in 2020 to Verstappen. I think this is us being a bit too harsh on.
No.
Lewis.
Verstappen was the better driver. People like 2019 and 2019 was a good season for Lewis. It wasn't really. It was just kind of decent.
There were a couple of car
Yeah, but-
crash races for Verstappen, but they looked bad at one point because Ferrari were cheating.
Yeah, but Lewis also didn't look great because he didn't have to care. 2019, he had no competition. So
Yeah.
I think it's a bit harsh to put Verstappen in 2019.
Verstappen was the better driver. In real life.
It's Lewis Hamilton. You are gonna get slated.
No,
don't
the thing
care,
is,
I don't
okay,
care.
in 2020, Verstappen came of age. Like that was
Yeah,
when he started
2020 for
driving
sure.
like flawlessly. Yeah, he can have it in.
Yeah.
Okay, 2020 it goes to Max.
Yeah.
So what's happened?
I
Okay,
would have
because-
loved to have Verstappen in 2019. I just think it's still Lewis's team at that point. So
Yeah. As we're running out of time, let's just try and do the abridged versions of from here on of just like any team transfers that change champions. So we said that 2020 is going to be Verstappen takes the title.
Yeah, Perez and Stroll stay at AM.
Yeah.
I say Gasly and Tictum stay on.
2020, yeah. Williams, Latifi has to come in. Would they bring in Latifi over Hülkenberg? No.
Gasly has stayed there for 4 years now, but it's fine. Keep him there.
Gastic against Ricardo Sainz. Would there be movements with them?
I think you remember when I said Sainz would want to have at least some sort of like better options.
Does he just go to McLaren? But then Norris has to join McLaren at some point. Bottas and I think Van Dorn's done.
No,
Yeah.
I think
Or maybe they get rid of
Sainz and Ocon at Renault, and then you promote Gasly next to Ricardo, and Tictum next to Albon.
Okay.
Not
Albon?
Yeah.
What?
So Ricardo,
Albon at Russell.
Rick
Albon at
Gaz.
Russell.
But Albon's there's no at this point he's balls deep in Formula E. Like there's nothing.
Okay, so Tictum and
Maldonado.
Who are the? God's sake, who are the other juniors in fucking? Okay, that's
it's
1
too
year.
early. It's too early for Vips and those.
It's too early for Tsunoda. It's too early for Lawson. Let's see who else is there. Harry Thompson, Jack Doohan. It's too early. Johnny Aker too early. Vips too early. Hauger. It's too early.
Way too early.
Hassaway Ward was gone. Igor Fraga, no thank you.
2020, they just give it, just like they gave it randomly to Hartley. They give it randomly to someone they want to.
Kvyat, bring Kvyat back.
Yeah, Kvyat. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, fine. Gazkiv.
You mean
Tikkiv. Tikkiv. That definitely sounds like a Czech surname.
Why is it?
Get rid of a K. Yeah.
Tikkiv. Tikvi.
Okay, Haas. Who do they get next to Grosjean? They get Magnussen. We go back to Grosjean, Magnussen at Haas. Magnussen has left.
Yeah, grow mass. No, grow mag.
Mass is come back.
Max has come back. Sauber in 2020 was what were they? Oh, it was Kimi and Gio. Is it?
No, Raikkonen.
Yeah, they just keep the team, and then we'll see what we do with Verlaine.
And then Botvan. Although is this the one that changes because it becomes we need to bring Norris in.
But no.
Norris and Van Dorn.
Van Dorn's out.
Yeah,
I think Norris and Van Dorn.
Yeah, it's a thing. Bottas would have I feel like
Van Dorn would have outperformed Bottas because he was too weak of a teammate.
Do you think so?
Yes. The only reason Van Dorn got battered by Alonso was because Alonso was a bully.
And Alonso
so Bottas is out of the sport in 2020.
Or maybe put him instead of Giovinazzi. Maybe put him instead of Giovinazzi and Sauber.
Oh yeah, Giovinazzi is useless. So, yeah, Vebot.
Yeah.
Although their line
that's a good lineup.
Yeah.
That's a
okay. So that's done. So 2021, Verstappen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's happening for Verstappen again. I think maybe does Hamilton consider retiring at that point?
Yeah. I'd say Hamilton retires at the end of 2021.
Yeah.
Because he's like new regulations.
Verstappen stays, and then Osama comes up. Yeah. Okay, unless because they're gonna keep ignoring Hülkenberg.
Yeah.
Why'd you put Hülkenberg in there, you dipstick?
Oh, sorry. I'll say there's Ros. I think that just stays for the although the Mercedes is useless, so Max is going to throw his toys out the pram, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave that.
We'll do that. We'll come to that bridge when we get to it.
Aston Martin, there's no Vettel to retire, so Perez doesn't get kicked out.
Yeah.
So
keep it for a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Perster.
I think just put Alonso at Aston Martin when he gets tired of Ferrari, or he goes to McLaren or something.
Yeah. So for 2020, that's a really bad.
Still them. It's still them.
It's still them. Oh yeah. Van Noor, Vebot in 21.
Van Dorn would have done 6 years at McLaren at that point.
Yeah.
But still, he was a good driver, and he would have actually made good in his junior career, I think.
I mean, he's been at Mercedes for 10 trillion years in Formula E and all that.
So Sainz Ocon to kickstart Alpine. That's fine.
Yep. So, yeah. Oh, damn! It's changed the color.
Stupid colors.
Sayoko.
Ovco, good one.
Red Bull is Ricardo. He's now been at Red Bull for.
Maybe Hamilton goes to Red Bull.
No. Don't go there.
But the thing is that the Red Bull would have been really good in 21. That's the thing we forget is that I mean Verstappen's still going to win the championship, but the Red Bull would have been a really good car.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so Ricardo.
No, but Ricardo's. No, I think Ricardo would have been like, well, actually, no, Ricardo would have stayed because he probably would have known the 22 car's going to be something good. So he'd have probably stayed with Gasly. It was like, finally, it's paid. My waiting's paid off.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking for 2022, maybe Hamilton goes to Red Bull. I think that could be a good option. Replaces Gasly.
It depends if you think because Gasly was solid in 20 and 21.
Hamilton goes to Ferrari early, and Alonso goes to Red. Because Hamilton to Red Bull is weird, I feel.
Yeah, Alonso Leclerc, Leclerc's going to
Alonso would have gotten tired of Ferrari, would have gone to Red Bull. I'm not saying
he'd have been Alonso he'd have done 2 5-year stints at Ferrari. So
Hamilton is going to be like what he just did now, which is I want to retire with Ferrari, so he does 2 years.
Hamlek, yeah. Williams in 21, it was they can say the same. Tikkiv. they have to get rid of Kvyat. 21. Oh, Tsunoda, Tixu. Although we're kind of assuming that Tsunoda's good, or that Tixum even is good in this universe.
Yeah,
or,
yeah, and I think he
oh,
is.
actually no, Tixu, the team swearing.
Yeah.
Then it was they're both gone. So are they still bringing in
Schumacher
MS
and Mazepin.
and yeah, and Mazepin? Schumacher is even worse because there's no Vettel to support him. Okay, 22. Well, the car being so good, although no, it's not. It's going to be Ricciardo is champion.
Oh
in
no!
that-
That's why I said Hamilton to Red Bull. I'd much rather
No, but
Hamilton as champion than
We said
Ricciardo.
Alonso to Red. We said Alonso to Red Bull though.
Oh,
Yes,
did we-
please, yes, please, yes,
Oh,
please.
okay.
yes.
Alonso in place of Ricciardo or
Or-
Gasly?
Or
Yeah,
do
he
we
was
do? Or do we
disgusting.
make it funny and we say that Ricardo beats Alonso because Ricardo helped develop the team?
Or do we say that
Alonso's gonna
Gasly
get paid.
makes his junior career, beats Ricciardo, and displaces Ricciardo?
Gasly's not going to beat him, but then they're not going to kick Gasly out after 2 years for Alonso, unless and
They
demote him
are.
back down to top. Gasly, we need to find
No,
somewhere
but
to go.
then you get Gasly and Ocon at Alpine.
But then what
and
happens to
Sainz moves somewhere
Sainz?
else.
Science can go
Sainz
to
goes to McLaren after Van Dorn.
No,
is-
Van
gets
Dorn. Van
beaten
Dorn's
by-
done
Williams. No, he can go to
10,000.
Williams.
Yeah,
Sainz
okay.
can go to Williams. Science can go to Williams because Russell's just left.
Yeah, but that's awful.
No, but Sainz is going to improve. He's going to go to a better team. And McLaren at that-
Okay, is it Gasly? Is it Alonso Gasly at Red Bull, or no? It was Alonso
Alonso,
Aw.
no, Alonso Ricardo, and then Gasly goes
Aw.
to Renault.
Gasly starts. So Oka Gas.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's Van Dorn's gone, so now it's Norris and Sainz, Carlando.
Yeah, so that does happen. Yeah,
Sauber in 22 was Bottas.
I think.
Bottas is he still there? Joe.
Yeah, and Verline probably leaves for somewhere. Or
at this
just
point,
leaves.
Verline's been there for 5 seasons.
No, but
Then
then
again,
Verline goes to
Verline in this
Williams.
season probably has a good career because he's actually been given
Yeah.
a chance.
Yeah, but the car sucks.
But then I guess Verline goes to Williams because there's no one else to put at Williams.
Yeah.
But then
Hulkenberg-
Hülkenberg, where does Hülkenberg go?
He just stays.
No, because Russell
Because
has left.
in real life he didn't have a. Oh yeah, and there's no Latifi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's the Mercedes links, and it makes sense.
Hold on.
So what was it? What was that?
Aston
Bottas.
Martin is going to cause some issues here because there's no Vettel. Hold on. I think Hulkenberg could go to Aston Martin.
But Perez hasn't gone.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's-
I'd say
It's still Perster.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because he's not on the Red Bull's radar. So is this bot? Sauber was bot. Oh god, who was it?
Zhou, but no, we don't want Zhou. We don't want Zhou. It's stinky.
Yeah, but he's got communist money, hasn't he?
Put
Put
De Vries at no.
No, do not put. If you say put De Vries at Williams ever again, I will shoot you in the face.
No, because I'm just thinking, who would they have rated at that point?
Joe's got money. Poor Chair won. 23 was when he won GP2.
Was there any recently retired drivers?
Put Porsche, you can put Porsche in 22 because there's no Kimi blocking.
Yeah. And then Toro Rosso, they keep Tsunoda.
Hold on.
They're not going to keep
What did Porsche do in 21?
F2 probably. He won the title in 23.
Yeah,
He won in Formula. He won the Monaco Grand Prix at 17 in Formula 2, and he was already tipped to go to
I genuinely
Sauber in
hate
20.
Porsche. I don't know how you're putting him in a seat, but okay.
So Toro Rosso, okay, Tsunoda stays, but then are we going to keep Tictum for a 4th season when Alonso's just come into the top thing and Gasly's been kicked out? Like, but the juniors, because this is a year before Vips is ready.
I think you just keep it how it is, and
yeah,
just for now. I also This is where
I think in this universe, Hamilton doesn't have as much influence as normal, so racism is okay, so they don't mind what Vips did, so he still gets the seat in 23.
Oh god! Wait!
Yeah.
They don't mind.
Yeah,
I think Mazepin. Because I think Vettel stops the war in Russia, so Mazepin stays on.
so how does he stop the war in?
Because he's an environmentalist, and he.
Oh
Can
no,
do anything
he sets killer bees. He assassinates Putin with killer bees.
And I think Mazepin could become the first driver because he's a better driver.
Is Magnussen's just gone? Oh yeah, they bring him back though because of Mazepin. Yeah, we're not keeping Mazepin on the war.
Why?
I don't think Vettel has the diplomatic skills to stop that war. Really,
Aww.
Muskmag. Although
we still Mick. Okay.
Okay,
Wait. Giovinazzi's a person.
Or-
Yeah, put Giovinazzi there and then put Callum Ilott because we said Vettel does not mentor him at the very start of
Yeah,
the video.
Ilott would be perfect. Ilott would be
What,
perfect.
instead of also Gio and Ilott?
No.
Giolio.
So you put Giovinazzi in 2021 and then you put Ilott in 2022 because Giovinazzi.
Oh, because
20
Schumacher isn't good, so he doesn't deserve an F1 career in the first place.
Yeah, but he's still going to win
Yes.
He's still going to win F2. He wasn't being
No, he's
mentored
not
by
going to win
Vettel.
F2. There's nothing going for him. He doesn't even.
But he's in
want to be
Ferrari. This is before he really knew Vettel. He was always going to get the Ferrari thing because of his name.
Okay.
fair
So
enough.
put
Right,
Giovinazzi.
keep him there then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? Hold on. 22. Who is it?
These two. Yeah.
Yeah, I think-
Giolio. Right. Okay.
I still think that Mazepin's been dirtied up, but oh well.
Yeah. So then, yeah. Right. That's fine. But the title is okay. Alonso gets. Do we get Alonso or Ricardo?
Alonso, fuck off.
Yeah.
Ricardo.
No, he's not allowed any titles. 23 was. That can stay the same. Paul Chair Bot probably. Ocon. They're all going to be the same. I think. Would any of them? They must get rid of Tictum now. It's been 5 years. No. Yeah. Oh yeah. Suvips. Suvip. Russell, Verstappen, Perster. Haas was it still? Yeah. Giolio. Poulvey at Williams probably.
Yeah.
23. Logan Sargent. Would they have thought about him?
No, or they
No,
might have actually, but
not
they,
with this,
they would have
because-
thought about him, but not done anything with him. I don't think.
Yeah, Verline's been kicking about for a long time at this point. Maybe 24 they think about, because now Hülkenberg has had 7 straight years at Williams. Maybe they get rid of Verline, so it's Hülkenberg and Sargent in 24. Because he's had an extra year to
Why?
sort himself out. I don't know. He's had,
How would have had a good F1 career by this point? Is what you're forgetting.
yeah.
So put in
Are they all-
the lineups that are definitely going to happen. Perez and Stroll have been teammates for the last 6 seasons, by the way. I just like to point out.
Yeah, I mean, Stroll is going to be there forever, and Perez has got nowhere better to go. Although maybe at this point they would have thought Perez is really impressing us, so maybe he should go somewhere better.
I was about to say Perez has been at Force India for what 10 years now.
Also, I need the other. Oh God, he's been there since 2014. The other thing as well is that Piastri needs to come in because okay. Alpine, Piastri, Ocon, Gasly. Do they throw? They hate Ocon because they just do, so they're gonna throw him out for.
Yeah, and they promote Piastri.
Yeah, so Gaspia. Undercase.
Funny because gaspillage means waste in French.
Yeah, Gaspia. Okay, so Ocon, is he done, or does he just go to?
I say he goes to Aston Martin so we can stop the Perez. We can stop the Perez train.
Okay, so Okaper, it's his turn to.
You mean Orchestra?
It's his turn to shit all over Stroll. Checo goes somewhere.
No, to Sauber. Get rid of Porsche. Get rid of Porsche.
Oh yeah, Porsche has bollocks. So yeah, Botper. Renault.
Bottas has. Sorry, Perez is more experienced. So it's Perbot.
Herbot.
Perbot.
Renault is that's playing the same. Red Bull. Okay. Alonso has won the title again. He's won every race.
Yeah.
And Ricardo is losing the will to live. Vips is good. Tsunoda they can just least racist F1 team. Williams.
Hulkenberg's been at Williams since 2017. I'd just like to point out.
Yeah. Well, Hamilton just completed 13 seasons with Thing.
Okay.
12 seasons with Mercedes.
Okay, we can argue.
That's the one issue we have with these videos. Sometimes we do keep someone.
I could even argue that Verstappen cries about Mercedes being shit, and then Hulkenberg goes there instead, and Verstappen goes somewhere else, like Ferrari.
Yeah.
Hamilton retires at the end of 2023. Verstappen goes to Ferrari, and Hulkenberg goes to Mercedes.
Hulkenberg does all those years at Williams, and then finally he gets noticed to get promoted.
Verstappen will be #1 driver in that team, surely, with these championships.
Rossham, Lecvez. Yeah, but it's
I was saying
but look what's happening in real life this year. Leclerc is still technically the #1, even with Hamilton with all of his titles.
Okay, I was just saying, by the way, it will be Russell and Hulkenberg is what I was saying because I wanted to get more.
Russell. Oh yeah. Russell.
Mm-hmm. Right. This is another one of my crazy conspiracies. because Porsche isn't in F2 in 2023, he doesn't crash into Behrman in Jeddah, and therefore Behrman has a ton of confidence and goes on to not win the title, but enough for Ferrari put him in Haas for 2024.
I don't remember them. I don't remember anything about Formula 2, but
I think
Behrman,
a lot on Behrman would be a good.
Behrman to Haas,
Yes.
Team Twink. Okay.
What's wrong with that?
The new one, the new Team Twink. Williams. So Hülkenberg's gone. Is Wehrlein still kicking? Last year it was.
I think so.
Oh yeah, Wehrlein Sargent. They give Sargent a go.
Wehrlein has become the greatest.
The new Hülkenberg.
Where's he? He started at Manor, and then
he's only done shit teams somehow.
Five seasons with Sauber, and then so basically he's become Hülkenberg, only crap teams this whole career. And then 3 years of Williams.
Was midfield teams. You put one driver in only crap teams when no one is putting him up.
Yeah. Okay, and then McLaren is still Carl Lando had a good thing going on.
Of course.
So this year, Tsunoda has to Lawson. Okay, no, Tsunoda's gone. It's Viplaw.
Can I just point out champion for 2024? Who wins the championship?
Fuck.
Verstappen in a Ferrari.
Sainz is beating Norris in that team. Verstappen in a Ferrari is good, but I think it's still Ferrari. Red Bull, the car, Alonso would give it a bloody good go.
Oh, also, we completely forgotten that Ricciardo becomes washed around this point, and we kept him in Red Bull.
Oh yeah, we need to get rid of him. He's just finished because why
don't we promote
9 years? I guess so. Other than Vips, Alonso.
So Lawson gets promoted a year early. Yeah.
That makes sense for Red Bull. Like
Sorry, Alonso. Was it Tsunoda or
Tsunoda?
Oh yeah. Alonso. Yeah, Alonso, and then this is Viplaw for another year.
Oh, we could have done that a year earlier. We could have put Ticktum in the Red Bull.
Yeah, that was never happening. So then 25. I think McLaren's not going to change.
Yeah.
That's a fun lineup. That's probably not going to change. Bottas has to go eventually. Checo has really declined, and that's his swan. No, but then he would have been all right there. Who have they got? They got Bortoletto this year in Hülkenberg. Hulk is staying at Mercedes. Antonelli.
I think Hülkenberg's had enough of a career. I think they get rid of him.
They would. I don't know if they would put Antonelli all the way. Maybe they would try. They'd put instead of Sargent, they'd have Antonelli.
Vahant.
Yeah, Vahant.
We haven't.
Haas is going to be this year? It's Ocon and Behrman. Do they keep Eilert for 4th season?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Well, I was suggesting that maybe we can't get Verstappen out of that Ferrari to put Behrman in it, can we?
No, you're not. Nobody is dropping Leclerc Verstappen for Behrman. Russell Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg's done. So who's going to the?
We don't have. Hulkenberg doesn't have to go then if we've already got Antonelli somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess he carries on. Why not? Aston Martin, Ocon, Stroll, the Eternal Team. Alonso, Tsunoda, Gaspia is staying, and then Sauber. Bottas has to go eventually. Yeah, I think Bottas is gone. Checo Bor, and then Behrman can stay. Eilert, would we?
Schwartzman.
Schwartzman's not he's Russian Israeli. That's not happening in the current climate. Unless Vettel has created peace in Palestine somehow. Eilert, his junior career record is good. He's been there or thereabouts in IndyCar and that. Maybe it just stays Ilo Bia.
Yeah.
Well, we got champions. We didn't do 24. Who's the champion?
I think Alonso in his. Alonso 2024 was not as good as Alonso 2023.
Alonso is a 6-time.
We have no idea. But...
Alonso is a 7-time champion in this universe.
Every single time it ends up with Alonso winning.
How many teams is that? Red Bull, Ferrari, Ferrari again, McLaren, Renault. He's like a modern day fan. Yeah, his original titles.
Oh yeah.
Bro forgot
the actual real ones. Yeah. And then 25. Okay, well, this is like an early prediction off of this.
Bearman.
Okay. Well, okay. This is like predicting what we think is going to happen in real life. Okay. I think McLaren are going to be strongest,
Yes.
but
No,
I think
science.
actually no. With this, I think Verstappen would do it. If we think Ferrari's going to be good this year, it might go to Verstappen.
Yes.
And
Give a third one to Verstappen. Give a third one to Verstappen.
Leclerc is never allowed to come of age.
Oh, you're horrible. You're a horrible, horrible man.
Yeah. Although in real life, I would love him to win the title this year. So there we have it. Well, it's.
Oh, actually, that's a good point that someone's put. How does Sainz not win the championship in 2024 with the McLaren?
Oh yeah, Sainz is going to shit all over Norris. So yeah, maybe Sainz does it. I think.
Yeah.
But Alonso, yeah, it depends how badly Alonso collapses from Miami onwards. To be honest,
I don't think he would. I don't think he would. But then again, I don't. 2024 Alonso is not on the level of 2024 Verstappen.
Sainz, he still missed a race from appendicitis, but otherwise, yeah.
Right, that's an interesting, different alternate lineup.
Yeah.
Do you want to just run through it all quickly? Is that what you did last time?
Do you mean try and name everyone, or the champions are different? We can summarize this.
So in this one, Alonso has 6 world championships. Lewis has 4, 5.
No,
4.
Alonso's got 7.
No, 6 because we just removed one. We just removed the
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, he's got 6.
Hamilton has 5.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
Hamilton has 4. 5.
No.
Yeah. Hamilton has 5. Rosberg's still got 1. Kimi's got 2. Did we give Kimi? Oh yeah, he was at Red Bull. I forgot about that. Webber has 2. Button has 1. Verstappen's got 3. Sainz has 1. Yeah. It does break up the monotony of what we had in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad for however many hours work. That was really good.
Yeah, there's a lot to contemplate. These all, I mean, maybe because we deliberately make them interesting. You're like, why couldn't this happen? It's so much more interesting.
It wasn't unhinged like Loeb to Red Bull or other things like that.
Yeah. Or
Bearman to Ferrari.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this one was really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think I could sacrifice, losing Vettel if it gave us something as scintillating as this. You've been listening to the DRS Train podcast. We're on YouTube and Spotify, and you can find us on Instagram and X at the DRS Train podcast. Make sure to tune in for our next episode. Stay safe, and we'll see you all next time.
You have to live a life. All the time you have to live a life.